Programs regularly scheduled at this time will not be seen, so we can bring you an NBC Sports special. Game 5 of the National League Championship Playoffs.
It was the 5th inning last night. The classic at-bat for Matt Williams versus Steve Wilson. And on the 12th pitch, the 4th game was to be decided. In the 9th, time for desperate measures for a desperate ball club. Sandberg led the way. And then the little pop fly that might have been the final out for the Giants, agonizingly spilling out of Robbie Thompson's glove, and the Cubs were alive. And then the moment of truth, the ultimate confrontation. Cy Young winner, most valuable player, bases loaded, game on the line, and it was over. The Giants exulting in the high of victory, and the Cubs tasting the dregs of despair. And the Giants led 3 games to 1. Welcome to Game 5 of the National League Championship Series between the Chicago Cubs and the San Francisco Giants. Another glorious day in San Francisco. Temperatures flirting with the 80-degree mark, and a light breeze which so far has not even rippled the flags at Candlestick Park. Hi, everybody. I'm Vince Scully along with Tom Seaver, and I know there are a lot of numbers about this game, but to put it on the line, if I were Mike Bilecki, I'd be scared to death.
Much of the factors of every game in this series has been the first inning. It was a factor last night. We saw both clubs jumping right out of the starting blocks, getting on the board. It's going to be a factor for both pitchers today. Mike Bilecki has got to keep his team in the ballgame. Remember when Rick Russell pitched in Chicago? Boy, they jumped all over him in the first inning. He only got 2 outs. He was out of there in the first inning.
Well, Russell has a comfort zone. He's not carrying the whole load. For Bilecki, he either wins, helps the Cubs to stay alive, or they all go home.
Well, he was admittedly very nervous in his first game that he pitched in this championship series, and he's got to get his feet on the ground today.
The pitching has been perhaps the biggest disappointment for each team.
Well, the starting pitching especially has been, everybody talks about it being mediocre. What's happened is that the pitcher's getting behind in the count, and a lot of times when they get behind in the count, they're making very poor pitches. You know, you could say it on the other side of the coin that the hitters are taking advantage of the plus situations they have when they get the pitchers behind the 8 ball.
Well, the Cubs have been behind the 8 ball. They've had Ryan Sandberg and Mark Grace. The Giants have had Clark and Mitchell and Williams. We'll get to the starting lineups right after this.
Game 5 of the National League Championship Series is brought to you by New Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By your Toyota dealer. Whatever car or truck you choose, you'll love the quality. Who could ask for anything more? By Allstate. For home, auto, and life insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate. And by the good time, great taste of McDonald's.
Wouldn't it be great if you were at the series and the manager needed a pinch hitter and remembered you from Little League and it was out of here? And wouldn't it be great if instead of calling, you know who brought beer? Really great beer like Keystone. The fresh, cold-filtered beer in a can that tastes like beer in a bottle because of Keystone's specially lined can. And wouldn't it be great if your face was on a cereal box? Introducing Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great?
Know what's missing from Pringles Light Barbecue? Not the zippy tang of chilies, onion, and garlic. And what's missing from Pringles Light Ranch? Not the flavor of sour cream, buttermilk, and herbs.
Your body knows what's missing. It's a lot of the fat and salt in their regular chips.
And no cholesterol. But your mouth will never, ever miss.
What's missing?
So we really doing this?
We're gonna have a long time together.
Oh, I'm late. I gotta go.
Talk to you later. Over dinner.
When?
8.
Be there.
Bye.
Taxi!
why Allstate gives a 10% discount for cars with anti-lock brakes. We're the only major insurance company that does. Call Allstate.
Enjoy baseball memories throughout the years by ordering your copy of the 1989 World Series souvenir program. Packed with more than 90 pages of features, historical facts, and photos from the Fall Classic, this program is truly a collector's item. To get yours, send check or money order for $6 to World Series Program, Box 89, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. That's Box 89, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. Please be sure to include your proper return address. The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball.
The weather has come up magnificent here at Candlestick Park, and here's the Cub lineup. Jerome Walden, Ryan Sandberg, and Marvell Wynn replacing the injured Dwight Smith. Mark Grace, then you have Andre Dawson, Luis Salazar, and Sean Dunston. Joe Girardi, who caught Bielecki in Game 2, is behind the plate. And trying to stop that lineup is one of the great Cub pitchers of all time. Since World War II, second to Ferguson Jenkins. He won 135 games in the livery of the Chicago Cubs. He has not pitched well of late. One big reason, he had a strained right groin. And those who watch him carefully say it has definitely affected his sinker. He starts a strike to Walden. One of the things that Roger Craig and Norm Sherry will be concentrating on is to make sure Russell bends his legs. He's been pitching stiff-legged, perhaps the result of the injury. 1-1.
The word on Rick Russell is that we will know very early if, in fact, he has his stuff. As you see his motion, one of the things he'll have to do is try to get down, as Vinny says, and use that right leg as much as he can. He tries to get great movement on his fastball. He may not strike you out with velocity. He may have 4 or 5 fastballs a day that might get the 90-mile-an-hour zone. But for the most part, it's a sinking fastball and a little breaking ball. The word on him, though, is that if he doesn't have it, we're going to find out very early, and that's exactly the way it was when he pitched in Wrigley Field in game number 2 for the Giants.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Jerome Walden. Curveball hit foul. For Russell, those who operate speed guns on him marvel with the same delivery, throwing to the same location. He can go from 90 to 78 miles per hour in a blink of the eye. And Walden that time way out in front and cracked his bat. He has to get another stick. And look at that. He dropped to 72 miles an hour on that pitch. That's the biggest thing about him, his control and the tremendous fall off in speed. Walden with 2 strikes, and Matt Williams now goes back to a normal depth. Walden, very good bunter. He had 18 bunt singles, 30 infield hits. But with 2 strikes, they drop back. Fastball hit up the middle. Robbie Thompson hesitates, throws too late. He didn't have a grip, and he double clutched, and that was the difference. That split-second double clutch by Robbie Thompson as he had to re-grip the ball, and Walden is aboard.
Russell is one of the best fielding pitchers in baseball. That ball was actually not hit as hard as he thought it was. If he had not double clutched, he'd have gotten Walton at first base. Walton with good speed during the season, 24 stolen bases, so he has good speed. I think Russell was surprised that the ball was not hit that hard. He is an outstanding fielder. Don't be surprised by looking at his size and think that he cannot field his position. He is one of the best athletes for pitchers in the game. He's a good hitter, a good bunter, and very quick on his feet.
Ryan Sandberg, who has hit in all 9 league championship games with Walden going, hits it foul down the line. Remember, the Cubs have scored 11 runs in the first inning in the first 4 games, and they are desperately trying to get off the mark today against Russell.
Setting the defense for the Giants, Mitchell, Butler, and Sheridan. Matt Williams, Jose Uribe, Robbie Thompson, and Will Clark on the infield. Kennedy doing behind the plate doing the catching, and Rick Russell. The change the Giants have been made has been in right field. And Sheridan and Maldonado.
0-1 the count to Ryan Sandberg. In that disastrous first inning at Wrigley Field, Russell was touched up for a triple by Sandberg, 5 hits, and the Cubs scored 6 times in that first inning. On the corner, gave him a little bit of sidearm with a wrinkle at the end of it, and as he's been doing all series, Sandberg gave on it.
Russell does not have a deadly curveball that will freeze you, and this really shows you how Ryan Sandberg just does not seem to be able to pick up the rotation on the ball. He did it all last night.
0-2, way outside. Big save by Terry Kennedy, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. On deck, Marvell Wynn.
Looked like a curveball that Russell got on the side of. Try another breaking ball against Sandberg and really pulled it.
1-2. And another flat curve, but outside. 2-2, the count to Ryan Sandberg. The Cubs have hit for an average. In fact, the Cub team is hitting over 300 in the 4 previous LC games played this year, but it hasn't helped them as they've lost 3 of the 4. 2-2. Remember, Walden was going on the first pitch to Sandberg. They're not particularly looking for any pitch out now. 2-2.
Good pitch to do something on. Russell is not a strikeout pitcher. Sandberg does not strike out much. Remember that Russell has an outstanding move to first base as well. One, if not the best move in the National League to first base for a right-hander. That'll negate a little bit of Don Zimmer's running game. He would incorporate the hit and run more than he would the straight steal.
2 balls, 2 strikes. We'll see fastball. Yep. Half swing. Got it. You had to expect the fastball, but I don't think Sandberg expected it where it was.
For 2 nights, 2 games, Ryan Sandberg has seen nothing but breaking balls away. He's got to be thinking away in this situation, and we talked about every once in a while Russell pumping it up and giving an 88 or 85 mile-an-hour fastball. That one at 83, but the location was perfect on the inside corner.
Here's Marvell Wynn. Wynn hitting over 360 against Russell in their own personal confrontations. When Russell and Marvell Wynn were teammates with the Pittsburgh Pirates. The third member was Mike Bielecki, so we have a definite Pittsburgh flavor to this game today. Pitch out, and Walden holding despite the fact it was dropped by Kennedy. When the count was 2-2 to Ryan Sandberg, you expected Walden to go, and you certainly expected Russell to throw the fastball to Kennedy. But what fooled Sandberg was that it got the inside corner. 1-0 to Marvell Wynn. Mark Grace on deck. Popped it up. Coming down is Clark. Angling over, however, is Kennedy. Two down in the first inning, and Mark Grace will be coming up. A lot of people in the Midwest like to come to California on vacation, but that would not include the Chicago Cubs. In the playoffs in '84 and this year in '89, they went 0 for 3 in San Diego. They're 0 for 2 in San Francisco, so they're 0 for 5 in the state. Grace hitting .333 against Russell. Good sinker. 0-1.
Russell, an outstanding off-speed pitch. This is the changeup. You can see it just die. Will come up and look like a fastball. Velocity-wise, will not get there.
Grace, a fine hitter, and has enjoyed a great deal of success here at Candlestick Park. He's hitting just under .400 here at Candlestick. 0-1. Sinker away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Talking about the change of speeds that Russell will use, a fastball in the mid-80s and occasional 88 or 90. The changeup, as you saw, about 70. Many times it's not how hard you throw, but the difference between the velocity of your changeup and your fastball can be equally as effective as a Nolan Ryan fastball.
Walden committed and just did get back. So Jerome Walden.
Boy, he had him dead to rights. Walden taken off, and I don't think Rick Russell saw him to begin with. Stepped off. There wasn't a need really for him to step off. Just looking out of the corner of his eye, he may not have been able to see the entire picture, and a good job by Walton to get back in.
1-1 to count to Mark Grace. And he goes the other way, hits it foul down the line and slicing back into the seats. And the count 1-2. Naturally, you feel that all of the pressure is on the Cubs. They must win or it's all over. But the Giants know their own history. The Giants, like the Cubs, have had their share of skeletons. They got into the '62 World Series and lost. Got into the '71 League Championship Series and lost. Got into the '87 League Championship Series and lost. 1-2. One of the more inspirational people in the ballpark for the young Giants today. One of the all-time greats. And Willie Mays out here taking in the game. 1-2 to Grace. Lined into right field. Coming up is Sheridan. It's in front of him for a base hit. He slips and falls down, but Walden was going to third anyway. And so the Cubs, thanks to the phenomenal hitting of Mark Grace, have runners at first and third with 2 out, and Andre Dawson the batter.
Mark Grace has just continued to hit throughout this entire series. That was an off-speed pitch up. The Giants have seemingly wanted to try to get Grace out going to left field. See Sheridan slightly slipping on the wet turf in the outfield. It's a very thick outfield. The grass here is very thick. There's been really no rain, but it's very thick and very lush. The infield as well. So generally in the infield and outfield, it's considered a very slow surface.
The big out from last night is at the plate now and fouls it away. If there is a truism in baseball, you hear it every day. When the ball club is going well, the hot hitter always comes up in the right spot. And when a ball club is struggling, the cold hitter is always up there in the wrong spot. And for the Cubs, Dawson has been a cold hitter. That's in there. Sinker at the knee. Andre was saying in the aftermath of last night's game that he was angry at himself because he wasn't just trying to get a base hit. He was doing what a rookie would do, try too hard and try and hit it out of the ballpark. He is hitting only 125. 0-2. Curveball got him. And he is still the out man. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. No score.
Occasionally, through the sands of time, there emerge designs which are viewed as more than evolutionary. Introducing the revolutionary 1990 Toyota Celica.
You are here in the pursuit of one thing, an atomic bomb.
In a time that demanded the most of America, he demanded the most of men.
So what is it you're working on? What is it that's so damn important?
It is important. She's a card-carrying communist. Tell her. Come on.
The task was impossible.
We can give this country the biggest stick in the playground, and I intend to do that.
But his passion was undeniable.
I can do it without you. Well, if you do, and something goes wrong,
Why just tell him I love him? Because he's going to tell us.
it's a crisis of conscience. You got one job, Doctor. Give me the bomb.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Paul Newman, Fat Man and Little Boy, rated PG-13, starts Friday, October 20th at a theater near you.
I know college won't be an easy climb. That's why I joined the Army. With the GI Bill and the Army College Fund, in 2 years I'll have $17,000 to help me pay for college. And I'm developing the confidence and determination I'll need to help me succeed when I get there. Now I know I can make it to the top, not just in college, but in whatever I do.
Let's get a report from Mike Schmidt.
Yeah, Vinny, I'm watching the replay of Andre Dawson, his strikeout, and he's just trying to overdo everything. I mean, look at him forcing this. This is a hanging ball up and in, and his left foot's almost on home plate. I think Andre's going to have to relax, and as he did last night, hit that ball to the opposite field. That's how he's going to be effective. We need the 2-out base hits if they're going to get in this thing.
Well, they've been overmatched because the Cubs have been able to furnish firepower from Sandberg and Grace. But there have been 3 big giants. Here's the lineup. Butler, Thompson, Clark, Mitchell, Williams, Kennedy, Sheridan, Uribe, and Russell, and young Mike Bilecki, formerly a teammate of Rick Russell. Somehow trying to find a way to beat the Giants and keep the Cubs alive. Popped in the air. Behind the plate, Girardi with a lot of room. 1 down. So Butler, and you just wonder psychologically if that's a smart play. You know all the pressure on this kid, and yet you go up there and swing at the first pitch. But I guess it's academic. We'll never really know.
Going up there and looking for a certain pitch. Hitters will go up and look for pitches. They'll go up and look at zones. One of the two, and Brett Butler, who's been predominantly trying to go to left field for the entire series, may have gotten a pitch that he felt maybe he could drive for an extra base hit. That may be why he was going for a pitch so early in the count.
Robbie Thompson coming up.
The defense for the Cubs, Marvell Wynn in place of Dwight Smith in left, Jerome Walton in center, Dawson in right, Luis Salazar, Dunston, Sandberg, and Grace. Girardi behind the plate, and Bilecki. One thing about this playoff series, the defense has been very good for both sides.
Fastball in there for a strike. Thompson having a big series, not only hitting .333, but some impressive numbers with 2 home runs and 3 clutch RBIs. 0-1. And that's foul back and out of play, and the count 0-2.
A couple of pop-ups straight up in the air tell you the kind of fastball that Mike Bilecki is working with. Pitch is taking off, having a little tail on it, and the hitter's hitting the bottom half of the ball. What you'll see a lot in a pitcher that has real good stuff, his ball will be very active at the hitting zone. You can see he's using the 4-seam fastball, and then you'll see the ball that takes a little pop at the end, and everybody hitting the bottom half of the ball.
Ground ball to Mark Grace. He hangs the feed to Bilecki. Got him. Close play at first base. Great hustle by Robbie Thompson, and a good hang by Mark Grace, so that Bilecki could field it without breaking stride.
Good teamwork between Grace and Bilecki here. This is not an easy play. Pitcher's got to come down that line. You know that Thompson running has excellent speed. Grace makes a good feed right at the bag. That's really the key, so you catch it, and boom, can take a step and hit the bag. First base umpire Randy Marsh right on top of it. Another look from the right field camera. The key is a decent feed, a little bit high. But Bilecki right on the right route and can come right down to the bag.
Slow curveball for a strike to Will Clark, and the count 0-1. Clark tearing him up like Mark Grace. 2 down. First inning, no score. 0-1 the count. Fastball goes to the screen. Mike Bilecki has his ducks in a row. As Mike said, I'm just glad to be here. In 1985, he had a ruptured disc in his back. He pitched with the injury, won 2 games, and then underwent surgery. And it was serious stuff. But he has fought his way back to this role. 1-2.
Cubs have changed their defense against Will Clark here from last night. Center field, Jerome Walton is way over in right center. Last night they were playing Clark more or less straight away. Clark last night showing that he wanted to hit the ball to left field.
Fouled off, still 1-2. How did Mike Bilecki wind up with the Cubs? Well, he's from Baltimore, which is Jim Fry's hometown. And Jim Fry's son-in-law had worked out at the same health club. And it was the son-in-law told Jim Fry, you know, this Bilecki fella's okay. And here he is pitching the most important game of the year. 2-2. Cubs, as they have done, get their share of base hits, but they're leaving the runners. So with 2 hits, they left 2, and now the 2-2 pitch to Clark. Got him. So Will Clark strikes out. A strong first inning for Mike Bilecki, and at the end of an inning, no score.
Glad to be in America, back in the good old USA. I've been missing my baby, the sweet green earth, and a pure, simple meal made America's way.
A lean quarter-pounder hot off the grill with crispy golden fries.
America's meat and potatoes. I'm home. That's McDonald's.
My great-great-great-grandfather, Johann Peterstroh, was brewing beer in Kiern in 1775.
The Germans, they like a beer with character. And our family brought what they learned to this country.
Family Brewers, with a tradition of brewing experience that's longer than Miller or Coors or Budweiser. Stroh's, a beer that's not the same as other beers. Fire brewed, family brewed, for more than 200 years.
The struggle for excellence is the spirit behind running a business. It's the only way to run an airline. At Northwest, helping you do business is putting us on the fast track. In all we do, we're striving to jump the line from the merely good to being great. Because being the best is the only thing we want to be.
Your marriage will never end.
Always last.
Your children will never grow old. The Western will never die. Capture it on an 8-hour T160, and we guarantee you a lifetime of replays and re-records. For life, for sure, forever. BASF, tape that lasts forever.
2 cops who love the game.
Playoffs. You want to brush up on our baseball trivia?
Why don't you just brush your hair?
It's a whole new ball game with Hardball Friday.
Tomorrow night on NBC, an all-new Matlock mystery, followed by a brand-new world premiere movie, Desperado, starring Alex MacArthur and Richard Farnsworth. They say it's the best one yet. Luis Salazar, who has hit in all 4, Sean Dunston and Joe Girardi. Fastball, strike. Salazar with a single and a home run last night. Chopper to the third. Matt Williams is there.
Another one of the trades that Jimmy Fry made, sending Calvin Ciroli to the San Diego Padres. He got Fry and, he got Salazar and Marvell Wynn, both of them in the lineup today for the Cubs.
Sean Dunston coming up. The crowd is getting on Sean Dunston, but actually it's not fair, to be honest. After they all shook out last night, the report was that when Dunston got that little flare base hit, Will Clark wasn't the one who ignited him. It was Kelly Downs, the pitcher. Not Clark. Comebacker. 2 down. And when you think about it, it was a typical pitcher's reaction to a bloop. You know, why don't you swing the bat? And what Will Clark was actually doing, he was trying to serve as a peacemaker. And before the game, Clark and Dunston had a long, good-natured chat by the batting cage. 2 down, and Joe Girardi coming up. There's Kelly Downs, who pitched so well last night, but kind of ignited the fire. 4-1.
That was a great play by Russell on that ball. When he showed he was in perfect position to field it. Outstanding fielder.
Joe Girardi hitting 143, fists one right to Robbie Thompson. So he was properly jammed. The Cubs are gone in order, and at the end of an inning and a half, no score.
I wanted to live in the Rocky Mountain region. 12 or 13 of us have played together now for 8 to 10 years. We just have a good time.
Keep it down. What Tom does is he doesn't care if we make mistakes. He doesn't get down on anybody.
A lot of these players depend on Tom Dater for their life insurance.
It's all teamwork. It's, no individual players.
He's been on their team for 10 years, and with New York Life for 18 years.
Why would I buy insurance from a stranger when I can buy it from the worst fullback in Boise?
New York Life, the company you keep.
It's reassuring to know that of all the cars in its segment, the Toyota Corolla is the most trouble-free. Peace of mind. With the Toyota Corolla, it's standard equipment.
Oh, honey, don't come near me, please.
Oh, I can't. No, it's not a good idea. Oh, no, baby, not right now.
Oh, sweetie. You don't want to get too close.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients to kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Kiss me.
What are you waiting for?
Great kiss.
You may kiss me now.
Scope, the best thing first thing in the morning.
It's 11:35, and Roseanne Horn is learning all about her antifreeze. The hard way. Don't push your luck. Guarantee it with advanced formula Prestone.
Come on, answer.
Today's Duracell battery lasts up to 30% longer than the one from a few years back. Duracell. You can't top the Copperton.
Watch it wet. Baywatch, Friday.
That's Dusty Baker between innings, rubbing out a couple of kinks in the shoulder and neck of Jose Uribe. Aye, there's the rub. And we go to the second with Mitchell, Williams, and Kennedy. Kevin Mitchell hitting .400. Mitchell is now a definite veteran of league championship games. He's played in 12 of them, and he's hitting .302. In there.
Trying to keep the ball away from Kevin. You can see the first pitch from Bilecki, the off-speed curveball. One of the things Dick Pohl is trying to get his club to do is to establish that first pitch strike. So important to get the first strike over. If you're going to come in, you come in off the plate. He's been first strike to each of the hitters he's faced so far.
0-2 to Kevin Mitchell. Down and away, on deck Matt Williams, and then Terry Kennedy. Interestingly enough, the Giants, as you know, hold an advantage 3-1. That's the first time that has occurred in the National League Championship Series. They check no swing, says Randy Marsh. 4 times in the American League Championship Series history has one team had a 3-1 advantage over the other. But this is the first time in the National League. 2-2. Got him. And that looked like it had a pretty good sinker to it. Second strikeout for Mike Bilecki, and the batter will be Matt Williams.
Hey, look, maybe we can tell if it's a split finger or if it's a straight change. Looks like the sinker, just a flat, straight sinker. That looks the second kind of fastball that we've seen Bilecki throw. Remember, we saw him earlier throwing the cross seam, a four-seam fastball. That's the sinker. That really diving down and in. Good movement on the ball at the hitting zone. That's one of the important keys.
Fastball high to Matt Williams. 12 pitches, the 2 classic at-bats in this league championship series. 12 pitches to Mark Grace, 12 pitches to Matt Williams. And last night, the 12th, won it for San Francisco. Ball 2.
This is where the Giants have really capitalized when they've gotten ahead of the pitchers. Here the ball, count 2 balls and no strikes.
Now the 2-0 pitch. High pop fly on the right. right side. Sandberg going out looking for help. Here comes Dawson, and it'll be flagged by Grace. Sandberg turned his back as he flipped his sunglasses down, and he never saw the ball. Sandberg was out of the play, and it was Mark Grace, who earlier this year in a game at Candlestick lost a fly ball in the sun, but not that time.
A very high sky here at Candlestick, not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful sunny blue day. One of the things that Chicago Cubs don't have to contend with is wind. You imagine having to look up into that sky and contend with the wind as well. All 3 days it's been beautiful here at Candlestick.
October in the Bay. Boy, it is magnificent. 1 ball and no strikes. Fouled away off third out of play, and the count 1-1. I'm sure a lot of people wonder, after all the horror stories you have heard about Candlestick, whether they are just apocryphal, but it can get mean here, and cold and bitter, but not now. Change. A little low. And a half swing for a strike, says Bruce Fremming, and the count 1-2. 2 down. 2nd inning, no score. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Lucky doing a little bit of pitching out there today. Something that, unfortunately, the Cubs starters have not been doing for the entire series. Changing speeds, using both sides of the plate, throwing strikes, for the most part getting ahead of his hitters. He's only been behind one hitter, that Matt Williams, and when he got behind him, he went away with him with a fastball that could not hurt him. There you can see the splitter, the downward movement, and Kennedy just lucky to get the top half of the ball.
2-2. Fastball, a one-hopper, now 2 to Dunston, who cranks it up and lets Grace have it. So the Giants are gone, scoreless for 2, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Tuesday, I'm back. Facing a mysterious murder, a cheating husband, and a vengeful wife.
You know what? It's a great case.
It's an all-new Matlock mystery. Then some want him for the price on his head.
Bring him back alive.
Some want him for revenge. Some just want him. Desperado, all new Tuesday.
Can you guess which leading savings institution California Business Magazine rated #1 in consumer service? Not this one or this one, just this one. American Savings Bank, one of the biggest, maybe the best. Can you guess which of these leading California savings institutions serves more than 1 million customers? They all do, but only American Savings Bank was rated #1 in consumer service. American Savings Bank, one of the biggest, maybe the best.
I really appreciate this.
I hate these blind dates.
I know it's my boss's daughter, but you might like her.
Dad, the car.
Dad or Dad?
No matter where you're going,
There's no gas.
or what you're going
Dad?
through, at Chevron, in one quick stop, you can get high-octane Chevron Supreme and everything you need to help turn a night like this into a night like this.
Hello. Oh, Daddy. Hello.
Chevron, we're with you all the way.
Every year, 18 million pounds of poison get dumped into our Bay Area environment. That's over a ton an hour, and it's all perfectly legal. I'm Greg Ryan, and that's just one of the disturbing facts I've learned while working on a series of reports to air next month here on News Center 4.
If it goes on here, it goes on 4.
What's the secret to living to a ripe old age? Well, according to 3 Italian grandmothers, it's their recipes for old world cooking. They'll share their secrets today on News Center 4 at 5. Highlights of and reaction to this baseball game at 5.
Game 5 of the National League Championship Series is brought to you by Stroh's, Fire Brewed, family brewed for more than 200 years. And by New York Life, the company you keep.
We go to the 3rd inning at Candlestick Park. No score, and it'll be Mike Bielecki followed by Jerome Walden and then Ryan Sandberg. You remember, Bielecki got the base hit against Kelly Downs to drive in a couple of runs in the 1st inning of Game 2. This time he pops it up to Will Clark. He's fighting the glare. Martinez hollering to Bielecki, don't take it for granted. Bilecki stopped, and Martinez came out of the box saying, run. You don't know what'll happen on a pop fly, especially here. One down.
The big advantage for the Cubs is coming out here after the loss last night, not having to sit at home all day or back at the hotel all day and have the entire afternoon to think about it, as you see Clark looking up into that sun for the first out. The Cubs a real heartbreaker last night. Bases loaded, couple of runs behind. Dawson strikes out. They've got to go back to the hotel. Big thing, they can get up and come right back out here. 12 hours later, they're right back at the ballpark. It's a big plus for them, rather than having to stay downtown, stay at that hotel all day, and think about the loss.
1-0 the count of Jerome Walden. And then, typical of the life of a ball player, wouldn't you know, Andre Dawson has barely rubbed the sleep out of his eyes. He's up there today, first and third, and strikes out. Way out in front of that, 1-1. Big Daddy, that's what they called him in Chicago. His teammate on the Giants is the man who gave him the nickname Big Daddy. That would be Mike Krukow, who also pitched for Chicago. Among other things, he is an avid reader. In fact, when Rick Russell won his 200th Major League game, a San Francisco bookstore gave him a gift certificate good for 200 books. 2-1. Fly ball to left field. Mitchell will have to come up for it. And lost it in the sun. And that's what Martinez was hollering to Bilecki about. Don't you ever take anything for granted on a ball hit in the air at Candlestick. Remember, Mitchell did not get a jump on a ball last night, and sunglasses or no, he lost that one.
He never put the sunglasses down. Part of the problem, trying to keep it right under the bill of his cap. If he could, lost it right at the last moment. Why the sunglasses were not down, I don't know.
Error charge to Mitchell. And now Ryne Sandberg with Marvell Wynn on deck. No score, third inning. Cubs get a break.
That's about the third time I've seen that this year. Outfielders coming in with glasses on and do not put the glasses down. I can't figure it out. A tough sun field.
What makes it particularly difficult, too, is that we have just played 2 games that finished in the evening. And there isn't an angel up there to hide behind. Brilliant blue sky. You could set that in your ring. 1-0 the count of Sandberg, who struck out in the first inning, called out on a fastball that got the inside corner. This time he bangs it into right center, and that's going to go to the gap. Sandberg on his way will take a look and keep on going. Robbie Thompson's throw to Williams. He is out at third. Great relay by Robbie Thompson. He threw a bullet right at Matt Williams' nose, handling the throw from Pat Sheridan.
Sandberg trying to get to third base with 1 out, get to scoring position. Goes right up the right center field alley. A slight hesitation at second base that might have cost him, but a great relay throw. That's what nailed him.
9-4-2 if you're scoring. Pat Sheridan to Robbie Thompson, and then to Matt Williams, 9-4-5. So 2 down, 0-1 to count to Marvell Wynn. And he hits it to center. Butler coming up to handle it. However, the Cubs get a break and cash it in. And at the end of 2.5 innings, Cubs 1, Giants nothing.
Until about 100 years ago, all beers used to be fire brewed.
Especially in Bavaria, where it seems every little village has a brewery.
The most traditional ones still fire brew their beer.
But as times changed, most breweries switched to steam.
Except for some of the smaller ones.
And, of course, ourselves.
A beer that's not the same as other beers. Stroh's, fire brewed, family brewed, for more than 200 years.
State Farm tracks dangerous storms.
That helps State Farm agents like me deliver fast claim service.
You see, before a catastrophic storm can threaten your home, our national coordinators are tracking that storm and sending in special disaster claims crews. Our local claims people are already gearing up. A hurricane or a kitchen fire, State Farm moves fast. It's a big reason we insure more homes than anyone else.
State Farm is there.
Most men won't even discuss it with their wives, but when they start losing their hair, they talk about it with me. I say, don't waste your time with those miracle formulas. The Food and Drug Administration says there's no proof that they grow hair. The thing to do is to see a doctor. Doctors have the only treatment programs that are proven to work. Men listen because they know I'm making sense. After all, I'm a doctor.
Only your doctor has treatment programs that work. So see your doctor or call this toll-free number.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm old-fashioned. I think people should be able to eat good food without spending much money.
Excuse me.
So Wendy's is introducing a new super value menu. Oops. Everything on it is at a special low price. Biggie drinks, biggie fries, chili, including our new junior bacon cheeseburger. Delicious food that leaves change in your pocket.
Oh.
What do you have to know to get a seat around here?
Come try the super value menu at Wendy's.
A view from the wild blue yonder as furnished by the Goodyear Blimp Columbia, based in Carson, California. Nick Nicolari from El Toro at the wheel. Goodyear blimps travel over 100,000 miles every year. And it's worth the stop here at Candlestick, with the Cubs leading the Giants 1-0. Pat Sheridan, Jose Uribe, and Rick Russell against Mike Bilecki. 0-1. If we learn from history, the Giants certainly remember 1987, when they were 3-2 and went back to St. Louis and never scored. So they're not taking the importance of this game for granted by any means. 0-2.
A lot of people saying before the game that all the pressure was on the Chicago Cubs. That's really not true. The Giants would have to go back to Wrigley Field. Not necessarily do they have a starter for game number 6 established yet. Remember, Lacoste hurt his leg. Robinson has leg troubles.
0-2.
One of the reasons that Roger Craig would like to win it right here, he would be able to establish his starting rotation for the World Series. He would be able to at least take some time to get his pitching staff healthy. It's one of the things Tony La Russa has with the Oakland A's. He has all week to get his pitching staff and his rotation organized. The Giants are the only ones that will be able to do it. Now, if the Cubs are going to go to the World Series, obviously they're going to play all the way through Thursday. They got a day off and then start the World Series.
That's one thing that Tony La Russa talked about after yesterday's game. 1-2. He would just as soon have the Giants win it today, because La Russa felt that last year Oakland had the layoff and was rusty going into the World Series. So he's saying, okay, if I've clinched early, I want the Giants to clinch early, and they will be as rusty as we are. And Sheridan goes down, 1 away. Again, for historians, the Giants have never clinched a title of any type at home. And Roger Craig would like to change that this year.
Now look at the super slow-mo. You can see the splitter. Watch, look at the fingers apart. And watch the action at the ball right at the hitting zone. That's the key to that pitch. It is very active late at the hitting zone. I mean, all of a sudden, boom, the bottom drops out.
Fastball for a strike to Jose Uribe, and the count 0-1. Uribe hitting .286 in the series. 1 run batted in. Switch hitter. A little low, 1-1. On deck, Rick Russell. Big off-speed pitch, but low, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Boy, did he give him a lot of motion on that pitch.
A lot of motion and a big breaker. Blecky doesn't look like he's too nervous today. His tempo is a little bit faster. He's working a little bit quicker. You see the breaking ball. One of the things that pitching coaches will try to get their young pitchers especially to do, work with a little bit more tempo. Keeps your infielders alert. You get better defense behind you. And you see Dick Pohl, the pitching coach for the Cubs, aims that Malecki's tempo in this game is just a half a step ahead of what it was when he started in Chicago.
Line drive in the left center. Walden, however, picks it off. So Uribe hits it hard, lines out, and that's 8 in a row retired by Mike Bilecki, as Rick Russell will come to the plate. That's the hardest hit ball off Bilecki thus far. And now Russell.
Well, you can't judge Rick Russell by his demeanor. I mean, he walked up there to the plate like he was strolling through the bookstore, picking out some of his books. He is a good hitter.
And probably rolls it to Dunstan's left, and Sean nails him with that high sailor to Mark Grace. Well, I tell you, every throw is an adventure. And at the end of 3, 1-0 Chicago.
Out here, people depend on Craftsman. Craftsman tools are so tough, the hand tools are guaranteed forever. So you can always return them, no matter when or for what. Good thing they hardly ever have to, because the nearest Sears is 2 hours away. By plane. Great low prices every day. Craftsman quality. That's your money's worth, and a whole lot more.
Suffering through a cold together can be the first true test of marriage. You took your cold medicine, and he took his.
Oh, here, keep the box.
You're not sneezing. How come you're not sneezing?
You make discoveries.
You're not coughing. How come?
And you see things you never saw before.
What have you got over there anyway?
Nyquil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine.
Twice a year, your Goodyear retailer takes inventory, which means he must count every Goodyear high-performance, all-season, steel-belted, and light truck radial in stock. And twice a year, he reaches the same conclusion. It's better to sell them than it is to count them. So he's clearing them out with drastically reduced prices on hundreds of quality Goodyear radials during Goodyear's inventory clearance sale through October 14th at participating Goodyear retailers.
Beale Street and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Beale Street means a blues festival and spicy barbecue, Memphis style. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place. An Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
This doesn't get any better than this.
A con man suspect is caught. You helped put him behind bars. A Vietnam hero is reunited. You brought them together. You can make the difference. Solve Unsolved Mysteries Wednesday.
We go to the 4th inning with the Cubs leading the Giants 1-0. It'll be Mark Grace, Andre Dawson, and Luis Salazar. If you joined us a little late in the 3rd inning, Jerome Walden hit a fly ball to left field, and despite the fact he was wearing sunglasses, Mitchell did not flip him down, lost it in the sky, and it went for a 2-base error. And then Ryan Sandberg doubled him in. And so Mitchell, who has been the difference in so many Giant games this year, is the difference defensively, at least for the moment. There's a line drive at Clark. Boy, what a tough out is Mark Grace. Even when they get him, he hits a bullet.
Second time in this game that he's pulled the ball. You see it down in the strike zone, but this time right at Will Clark. Boy, is he hot. What a beautiful swing. Now with a great swing, a great strikeout, base on balls ratio. Walks about twice as many times as he strikes out.
Andre Dawson has been playing in the big league since 1977. And you would think that a man with all of his glistening credentials, a man who is 35 years old, under the pressure, would not be pressing. But he is pressing. One and one.
Pressing maybe because he knows he is the one individual in the lineup who can really carry the club from an offensive standpoint. He is the one bona fide home run hitter down in the middle of that lineup who can carry them. And he hasn't done it. He had a pitch to hit last night that he missed in the 9th inning with the bases loaded. He had a hanging curveball in this game the first time up, and he missed it. You know, in the back of his mind, 35 years old, and he has not been to a World Series.
1-2. And that hit him or the bat? It hit him on the hand. And Andre Dawson will be awarded first base.
Mike Schmidt was talking about it earlier, how that left foot and Andre Dawson really right in the, almost in the strike zone. Hit him on his, just on his pinky, it looks like. The breaking ball inside. Boy, that ball is not that far inside. He's just looking out over the plate, looking for those breaking balls down in a way that he has had so much trouble with. He gets a sinker in. That ball's not about 3 inches inside. I'll tell you where he is on the plate.
So Andre Dawson hit by the pitch, and Luis Salazar the batter. Salazar grounded to third in the 2nd inning. Sinker in there at the knees. The combination of Russell's sinker, the thick grass on the infield, makes him so difficult here at Candlestick Park. Even if you hit the ball pretty hard on the ground, it usually dies of exhaustion. 0-1. There it is, lush and green in Candlestick. Chopper into the hole into right field. Dawson sees Sheridan is deep, and he keeps on going, and Sheridan's throw not in time. So the Cubs are in business again. Runners at first and third with 1 out, and Sean Dunston will be the batter. Salazar has now hit in all 5 games.
Salazar, the veteran, and around the major leagues, both leagues, and knows how to play the game. We talked about how Don Zimmer will go to the hit and run a little bit more often than he will the straight steal. That because of Russell's good move to first base. You see Dawson knowing that Sheridan deep in right, especially hit and run, go right on to third. Cartier saying stay right here. The Cubbies got first and third with 1 out.
Sean Dunston grounds one to the right side. Robbie Thompson goes to Uribe, and
times tonight, we'll be delivering in 30 minutes or less. Sometimes we even arrive a little early. So tonight, call us, because nobody delivers better than Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's Pizza right now and get 2 hot pizzas for 1 hot price. Nobody delivers better, so call now. Wouldn't it be great if lawyers showed up to tell you that someone you didn't even know left you like $8 gazillion? And wouldn't it be great if the lawyers brought beer? Really great beer like Keystone. The fresh, cold filtered beer in a can that tastes like beer in a bottle because of Keystone's specially lined can. And wouldn't it be great if your boss called demanding information and you said, call 411. Introducing Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great?
First priority, Miss Crowley.
Well, I'm assuming there's product in the pipeline, so...
Assuming, Miss Crowley. Unfortunately, assuming doesn't feed the bulldog.
The top business schools prepare you for every eventuality you will ever encounter in the business world, except one, business travel. We've got that one covered. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
How can Miss Crowley's 3-person sales force stay on top of her far-flung enterprise?
When you want to laugh again, feel romance again, and be amazed again.
I'll drive, I'm the cat.
And again, you've got a Who Framed Roger Rabbit habit.
Got a thing for rabbits.
So satisfy it the only way possible. Own this Academy Award winner on video cassette. Only $19.99 after $3 rebate with additional purchase. Get into the Roger Rabbit habit.
Did you ever wonder what it would be like to live another person's life?
I'm playing the piano in the Carnegie Hall.
I'm a woman.
Oh, boy.
I do it every week. Take the leap. Wednesday.
San Francisco, the scene of Game 5 at Candlestick. By the way, if you're 40 years old and you've been pitching professionally for 20 years, you're not going to get too excited about an inning-ending double play. That's about the most of it from Rick Russell.
Almost like saying, well, that's the way it's supposed to be done. You get him on first and third, you either strike him out or get the double play. You know, and he's always been like that.
Brett Butler fouled out on the first pitch in the first inning. Looks at an off-speed strike, and the count 0-1. Butler, Thompson, and Clark. Fourth inning. Cubs 1, Giants nothing. Showed bunt. Took low. 1-1.
Well, like he's got it on track through the first 3 innings. Retired 9 in a row using 36 pitches. A different pitcher than we saw in Chicago.
Butler with 23 bunt singles, so Salazar and Grace have to shorten up as usual. 1-1 in time. Bilecki has retired 9 in a row, so Butler might very well try to move him around a little bit and get him out of that comfort zone standing on the mound. 1-2. Butler felt that was kind of a delayed call as he backs out, unhappy with it. Charlie Williams, the plate umpire. Randy Marsh, Doug Harvey, and Bruce Fremming working the base pads. Terry Tata and Jim Quick on the line. 1-2. Ground ball to Dunston. Well, I tell you what, I wonder how many gloves Mark Grace uses in the course of a year. We understand that they put the speed gun on that throw. That was an 84-mile-an-hour fastball that Dunston just unleashed to Mark Grace. Robbie Thompson grounded out. Grace to Bilecki covering in the first inning. Robbie 0 for 1, hitting .313. Off speed, but missed. Ball 1.
High percentage of first pitch strikes by Bilecki, and he is really trying to establish his breaking ball early in the count.
1-0. Fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the problems that the Cub pitchers have had is that those high fastballs, you saw the swing and the foul back by Robbie Thompson. The pitches that they've been throwing up, the fastballs up, have been right about just at the bottom of the letters. See where the Giants are? Just at the bottom of that. Well, that fastball there was a little bit above, just above the top of the strike zone.
1-1. Breaking ball, and he really broke off a dandy in the count 1-2. The only run came in the third.
Here you see the super slow-mo again. You look at the fingers and you can tell the pitch. That's the breaking ball. See him come right over the top.
1-2. And another breaking ball, and Thompson got a piece of it. We were talking about how hard Sean Dunston throws. Look at this. Mark Grace cooling off that right hand. Well, I bet you that thing burns by the end of a game. High pop fly. Dunston, sunglasses down, and they're glistening. Makes the play. Boy, so many times you see an infielder up here especially. Sunglasses down, look up, and looks like the eyes of little awful Annie. Here's Will Clark.
Thompson on that pop fly all the way down to second base. Obviously, the Giants play 81 games here at Candlestick Park, and they know how tough this place can be to play in. They will take advantage. They definitely have a home field advantage here. The one advantage that they don't have from the home field standpoint is that in the 3 games there's been no wind.
0-1, the count to Will Clark with Kevin Mitchell on deck. Flags hanging limply in center field. Boy, you ought to put that in a time capsule. For 3 consecutive days, not a movement out there. But again, it should be pointed out, it is a rare time to be playing here in October. 0-1. 1-1 to Will Clark.
There's an established fastball inside. One of the things that Dick Polo's been working with Bilecki all year long, established hard in, and then you get somebody out soft away.
Line to center. There's base hit number 1. And it's collected by the man you figured would get it sooner or later, Will Clark. So a 2-out single will bring up Kevin Mitchell. Mitchell with an opportunity to atone for not bringing the sunglasses down on the fly ball by Walton that eventually led to the only run of the game. One nothing Cubs. 2 out in the 4th. Breaking ball. You don't expect Clark to do any running, especially since you know he has a sore leg. And the one thing the Giants don't want to do is take the bat out of Kevin Mitchell's hand, not after having hit 47 during the year. 0-1. Mitchell hitting .375 in the series. Fastball on the hands, and he really challenged him. Boy, it takes a little guts to come in there against somebody who can hit him out as quickly as Mitchell can.
If you go in, you got to go way in. You try to go to the end of the plate. See how Mitchell tries to collapse and hit that ball? The thing you don't want Mitchell to be able to do is extend his arms. Takes a lot of guts to go in there, but you have to go in hard. You have to go in hard off the plate, start that ball on the corner, and try to run it in toward that elbow.
0-2. And away. So the classic pattern, hard stuff inside, breaking ball down and away, and the count 1-2.
That's a formula that's worked for a long time.
Since the caveman.
Yeah, that's right.
Matt Williams on deck. Bilecki trying to get out of the inning. 1-2. Bilecki has 3 strikeouts, no walks, and allowed just 1 hit. One and 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count to Kevin Mitchell, who's checking with Bill Fahey. Deuces wild. Check swing. Walking off the field are the Cubs, and there's that delayed call strike by Charlie Williams. No runs, 1 hit, a man left, 4 strikeouts for Bilecki. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
I can make us all rich.
Tonight, Al plays the stock market.
What a great game.
But what if he loses the family's money?
I'm playing with real money?
Then the Hogan family finds puppy love.
Oh, no.
How was your walk with Cujo?
While the boys have a shot at brotherly love.
Hurt me, Dave. I'm yours.
Your kind of family fun tonight.
I like hanging around, getting down, walking the dog, doing the town. I like everything I got right here. Rainbows and cold Coors beer. It takes a part of this country as cold and clean as the Rockies to brew a beer as pure and natural as Coors. Brew refresh, just like you like it. Tap an ice cold Coors with a friend of yours. A Rocky Mountain legend, an American original.
This year, 10 million people will buy a new car.
Turn the key. Feel free.
And today's sophisticated engines deserve an equally sophisticated fuel. Exxon Extra, the fuel that lets you concentrate on why you bought the car in the first place. Exxon Extra, precision equipment for precision engines. Just turn the key.
The station that changed the musical landscape of radio in the 80s continues its 10 years of commitment to quality music, quality broadcasting, and quality audience. KBLX would like to thank you, Bay Area, for your support of The Quiet Storm and the spirit that encourages all Bay Area people to come together. We're KBLX 102.9 FM.
If it goes on in San Francisco, it goes on 4.
Game 5 of the National League Championship Series is brought to you by new Keystone and Keystone Light, bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? And by today's Chevrolet, who invites you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
To the 5th inning with the Cubs leading the Giants 1-0, and Joe Girardi, first ball swinging, fouls it away in the count 0-1. Girardi, the Cub catcher, popped up to Robbie Thompson in the 2nd inning. The only run in the 3rd on a ball lost in the sun by Kevin Mitchell, and then Ryne Sandberg's double to score Jerome Walton. 1-1. 1 run, 4 hits for Chicago. No runs, 1 hit for the Giants. Two and 1. That's the pitch that jammed him in the 2nd inning. Laid off at this time.
For the most part, you'll see most of the Cubs swing early in the count against Russell. He tries to get ahead in the count very early.
Chopper to shortstop. Uribe is there.
A lot of first pitch strikes from Rick Russell. One of the ways that he pitches, he's old school. He tries to get ahead in the count, get that first pitch in the strike zone. And as a result, he will get a lot of first pitch swinging.
Just a gentle reminder, tomorrow night on NBC, a great entertainment lineup, an all-new Matlock mystery, followed by a brand-new world premiere movie, Desperado, with Alex MacArthur and Richard Farnsworth. Sandberg, missing a breaking ball, struck out in the 1st inning, but then got a ball to handle and doubled to right center in the 3rd. In there on the corner, and he's in a hole now, 0-2. Sandberg hitting over 400 at Candlestick. 1-2 the count. On deck, Jerome Walton. And down he goes. Walton coming up had the infield single in the 1st inning and then hit the fly ball in the 3rd that was lost by Kevin Mitchell. And he came around to score on Sandberg's double. One run, 4 hits for Chicago. No runs, 1 hit for the Giants. Cubs had opportunities, 1st and 3rd with 2 out in the 1st inning, and Dawson struck out. 1st and 3rd with 1 out in the 4th. Dunston hit into a double play. 1 ball, no strike.
Matt Williams playing in the 3rd, protecting against the bunt against Jerome Walton. Most of the time from the right side, he tries to hit that ball, if he bunts it, toward the right side. They're right in between the pitcher and the first baseman. He likes to push bunt. Excellent speed.
He had 18 bunt singles during the year. Butler had 23. 2 balls, no strikes. Wouldn't go after the sinker. 3-0 the count. Sandberg on deck, waiting for another chance to hurt. Down the pipe. No walks in the game. We did have a hit batter. Dawson hit on the hand in the 4th. Fouled away. So Russell has come back now to run the count full. 3-2.
It's amazing on the 3-0 pitch. It's just a nothing fastball right down the middle. And then on the 3-1 pitch, where he would certainly suspect Walton to be going after it, he tuned it up just a notch and ran the ball in on his hands. Russell has a great sense, because of his experience, of what somebody is trying to do at the plate against him.
Fouled away, and he kept that sinker down and in.
People talking about him, they say he's able to recognize if, in fact, one of the big right-hand hitters is trying to muscle up and maybe trying to pull the ball. If somebody's trying to go the other way. We're talking about him before, being an avid reader. He says he's a very intelligent pitcher and really has kind of a sixth sense about what somebody else is trying to do against him.
Ground ball to short. There's Uribe on it. And there's the third out in the top of the 5th inning. And at the end of 4 1/2, the Cubs won and the Giants nothing.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Meet the 1990 Geo.
Getting to like you, getting to hope you like me.
In the 70s, you got to know a small car company called Toyota. In the 80s, Honda. Today, the 90s begin, and we invite you to get to know Geo.
Getting to know you.
At your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Sometimes after a big lunch, a day at the park is a little too much for Tommy Lasorda. So he reaches for relief. Rolaids, antacid. For millions, nothing, absolutely nothing, works better for heartburn and acid indigestion. And why should heartburn take the fun out of the game? Rolaids spells relief in regular or cherry.
Compaq is the leader in performance and intelligent innovation.
Martin, we've got an hour tops. Make or break. Hey, it's made.
Compaq has gone the extra mile for today's power-hungry users.
Give me next quarter's figures.
Yes. Compaq has consistently shown engineering excellence.
10 minutes to spare. That's hardly even exciting, Martin.
Speak for yourself.
The weather? That's no excuse. Oh, yes, you do. Introducing excuse-proof exercise, the affordable ergometer from DP, with air resistance for total no-impact fitness at home. Made in America for bodies that need no excuses. The DP ergometer. No more excuses, America.
It's a startling high-sea mystery. 5 sailors disappear, but only one is found. Where are the others? Plus a touching reunion update on a special Unsolved Mysteries Wednesday.
Pitchers on target. 1-0 Cubs, bottom of the 5th.
You don't get a game that's 4 1/2 innings old, just 5 hits and 1 run. If you don't do certain basics correctly, you can see the number of strikes that both pitchers are throwing today. Malecki has not even gone to 3 balls on the hitter. That's one of the few times that he's missed with the first strike.
And he started Matt Williams off speed. 1 ball and no strikes. Williams popped up in the 2nd inning. Breaking ball, little slider off the bat. 1-1. Well, if you talk to scouts about Matt Williams, he is basically a fastball hitter. And yet, in the biggest moment last night, 12 pitches, only 1 was off speed, all the others hard stuff.
Good look at the fearsome foursome. The rest of the team 0-2. Good job by Kevin Smolin, our graphic man downstairs.
Chopper to deep in the hole. Dunston's long throw gets by. Grace backing up is Girardi, and into second base goes Williams. It'll be 1-1, a base hit, and then Dunston drawing the error for the overthrow.
Dunston thinks he can go any place on the field and throw anybody out. A terrifically strong arm would have taken a great play by Grace at first. Remember here at Candlestick, a lot of foul territory. Long way from first base to where the ball would stop over next to the stands.
Tying run at second, nobody out, and Terry Kennedy taking ball 1. He'll be followed by Pat Sheridan and then Jose Uribe. So for the first time today, Malecki pitching under a severe challenge with the tying run in scoring position. He had retired the first 11 before giving up a base hit. Hit down the line, foul out of play. Kennedy might very well have been trying to take a shot at the hole on the left side because Sean Dunston is trying to bird dog as much as he can. Williams does not run well, and if you can take a step away from Williams at second base, it could be a big play at third or home. Kennedy saw that big hole, and he wanted to take a shot at it, but fouled it off. 1-1. Dunston way over behind Williams. Little foul off third. Salazar on the dead run and makes the play. So Kennedy fouls out. And that was an interesting moment in the game, because with a left-hand hitter up there and nobody out, you know he would like to pull the ball or at least get Williams over to third. Bilecki wouldn't give him anything to pull, so he tried to go with it, and he fouls out to third.
I think Kennedy just wanted to hit the ball in that hole. The hole was so big, he wanted to hit the ball on the ground between Salazar and Dunston. He actually got an off-speed pitch, which is the kind of pitch you would need or want to be able to pull the ball to the right side. But the hole was so big between Salazar and Dunston. Dunston was so much up the middle. Kennedy, was a real veteran, decided to try and be a little bit greedy, go for the base hit in the hole to get him to third.
Here's Pat Sheridan. He has 2 hits in the series. He struck out in the third. On deck, Jose Uribe. Sheridan hitting .167. No balls and 1 strike. That got away, and over to third goes Williams. The Cubs have been hurt several times in the league championship series. Wild pitches and pass balls, and now that's a big one to put the tying run 90 feet away.
One of the things that the Cubs have really been hurt by, too, as well, Benny, is youth. They make young mistakes. You see the splitter here going down, and Girardi just cannot handle it. A relatively young pitching staff. And both of the catchers, Rona and Girardi, rookies.
1-1. It's going to be a pass ball, and a pretty good reason was, in looking at the replay, Girardi tried to catch the ball with his mitt, one-handed. His bare hand had nothing to do. So instead of pushing the ball out in front of the plate, he tried to one-handed with the mitt, and it got away. So pass ball. 2-1. Fouled away. A lot of people think, well, if a pitch is in the dirt, it's automatically a wild pitch, and that's not true. Well, Girardi would love to have had that back again to shovel it out in front. And Williams, with no speed, there was no way he was going to gamble unless that pitch really got away. Damon Berryhill, of course, would have given anything to be in this league championship series, but he's out with a torn rotator cuff. 2-2. Got him. Big out for Mike Bilecki. That's 5 strikeouts. He's gotten Sheridan twice. Now let's see what they do with Uribe. You have the switch hitting Uribe coming up and Russell to follow.
The important thing about strikeouts is when you get them. May not be a strikeout pitcher, may not run the numbers of strikeouts like Nolan Ryan can do, but it's when you get them. Get that strikeout with a runner on third base with less than 2 outs. The Cub defense had to play in to protect against the tying run. When if you have the facility to strike somebody out, that's when you want to try and do it. Good pitch by Bilecki.
We're watching Joe Girardi, and he gestures to Grace as if to say, have you seen the direction from the dugout? The dugouts have moved Grace just a tad, and they're going to pitch to Uribe. Matt Williams at third, 2 out. A lot of pressure now on Girardi and Bilecki. Strike. They can't let another one get away.
The only pitch that he's pulled have been off-speed pitches, Benny. Most of the time he's been hitting the hard stuff the opposite way up the middle. Walton in center field is really very deep for Uribe.
Good reason. Uribe really ripped one in the third inning, but right at Walden. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's the old story. Every manager in existence, they love to get that number 8 hitter for the final out so they can start the next inning against the pitcher. But sometimes you get burned by it, and we'll see what happens to Zimmer. Fouled away. 1-2. 1-0 Chicago. 2 out, bottom of the 5th. The Giants have the tying run at 3rd, and Matt Williams. Don Zimmer still can find reason to smile. One ball, 2 strikes. 2-2. They have paraphrased a great line in Chicago from Dylan Thomas' poem about the boys of summer. They refer to the Cubs now as the boys of Zimmer. 2-2. Popped in the air, back a 3rd, down the line. Moving over is Marvell Wynn, and Bielecki has weathered the storm. On the base hit, the error, and the pass ball, he has kept the tying run away. Still 1-0.
You can imagine this tower was 300 feet tall. And when it hit his house, and then you see how it flattened the metal. So we got a real good whip out of it.
Hurricane Hugo surprised many people. Allstate's catastrophe team was ready.
With Allstate coming and the adjuster coming as quickly as he did, I think you need them. I really think you need to have a good insurance company like Allstate. Allstate came through when they had to. And I'm glad we have it.
It's not just a car, it's your freedom.
Tune up. You can't do it with a screwdriver and timing light anymore.
You know, spark plugs all look the same to the naked eye.
When you change a plug, you can actually see the difference on the screen.
We always recommend AC spark plugs and wires, the kind this car came with. GM training, I'd be lost and here without it.
See Mr. Goodwrench wherever you see these signs.
Good people, good parts, now a good price too. Check it out.
Racing along, I was chasing a dream. I was brazen and brash, and I swear there were times that it seemed that I could fly over walls. Oh, I really could win them all, and summer would go on forever.
The men who started it all, starting lineup baseball greats.
Shape our future, we invite you to learn the technology of tomorrow while you serve your country in the Navy of today.
How to Get Rich by Dan Fielding, Chapter 1, Meet a Mogul. Sell, buy, kill him, crush him. It's a bestseller. How to Get Rich the Fielding Way on Night Court Wednesday.
You have heard, I'm sure, of being hung in effigy. Well, this is being hung in San Francisco, as someone has taken a small cub, hung it by the neck. You know, we were talking before about Dylan Thomas and that great poem about the boys of summer, which is applicable to the Cubs now. With Dylan Thomas' line that everyone forgets, it's the boys of summer in their ruins. That's the one thing the Cubs are trying to avoid today. It is 1-0 Cubs in the 6th. Ryne Sandberg lifting one to shortstop. Uribe on the grass. One down, and the batter will be Marvell Wynn, who is playing today because Dwight Smith suffered that hamstring pull trying to score last night and had to come out of the game. Unable to answer the bell today. So Marvell, a former teammate of Russell, is in there. Pretty frustrating to be young Dwight Smith, who played so well all year and then missed the big game. One ball and no strikes. Tell you something that you could also put in a time capsule that you never see here. Here's a one-hopper by the diving Robbie Thompson. So Marvell Wynn, a one-out single. The picture that I don't think I've ever seen at Candlestick, the back of the plate umpire wringing wet Charlie Williams is a walking thermometer. You just don't see that here. Goosebumps maybe, but not perspiration. Almost 80 degrees. And the batter, Mark Grace. 1-0 Cubs. Top of the 6th.
One of the things Zim will try to do, obviously we talked about before, put men in motion, hit and run. You stay out of the double play.
Win not going. Interesting thing about Mark Grace, he's probably the only cleanup hitter around who is rated so high as a hit and run hitter. In fact, Don Zimmer said he's the best hit and run man he's had in 12 years.
Well, he's not really a cleanup hitter. He's hitting fourth, obviously, for the Cubs, but that's because Andre Dawson has scuffled so much. Grace is really a number 3 hitter. Best hitter on that ball club. They tried Ryan Sandberg in the number 3 spot early in the season for the Cubs, and he just did not do well. Emotionally, mentally, just was not a good number 3 hitter.
Fouled away, 1-1. The count to Mark Grace.
One of the things that Zim did when he put Mark Grace into the number 4 spot, you see Chuck Cartier flashing the sign, say, don't change, don't try to hit home runs, don't change your style. You be the same kind of contact hitter, go to left for 2 strikes, take advantage of a count type of hitter. I don't want a home run hitter here. I just want you hitting, and you just happen to be hitting in the number 4 spot.
Ball 2. Today, Grace singled to right and lined out to Will Clark. He's hitting .625 in the League Championship Series. And hitting .400 at Candlestick Park this year. On deck, and perhaps in another spotlight situation, is Andre Dawson, and you can just imagine what he's thinking. Lined into right field, base hit. Wynn sees Sheridan play a one-hopper, and he's on his way to third. And for the umpteenth time in this 1989 League Championship Series, Andre Dawson has a chance to do something.
Another ball hit right on the nose by Mark Grace. Ahead in the count, and he takes advantage of it. He doesn't try to overdo. He doesn't try to take more than the pitcher offers. It seems that every time the pitcher makes a mistake to Grace, he is on a hot streak, he hits the ball hard. One of the 5 hitters in the National League to hit .300. Great bat control.
Andre Dawson has left 10 men on base, so you know the pressure he's under right now. And he lifts a pop fly into right field. Sheridan with a good arm, tagging up his Wynn. Sheridan for the catch. Wynn can't move, and Dawson has failed again. And Andre Dawson must be fit to be tied. In his great career, he has suddenly come dead in the water. And again, we go back to that old story. When you're going well, a hot hitter is always up there. When you're struggling, the ice-cold hitter is up there. Here's Andre's reaction.
The ball hits short into right field. Sheridan does have a good arm, but he knows it's not far enough. Good pitch by Rushel. Seems like everything in the backside of Dawson is collapsing, hitting underneath the ball.
Well, they lived with him, and they will die with him. That's Zimmer's philosophy. Chuck Cartier angling down the line, and he immediately put the blocks to Marvell Wynn. So the Cubs had first and third in the first inning. Couldn't do anything. They had first and third in the 4th inning, and Dunston hit into a double play. And for the 3rd time today, they had first and third. And they're still checking Dawson's hand. Remember, he was hit by a pitch in the 4th inning. 1 ball, no strikes to Luis Salazar. In there, 1-1. So the Giants have frustrated the Cubs, and the Cubs have frustrated the Cubs. What was that old cartoon? We have met the enemy, and they are us. Fisted down to the right side to Robbie Thompson, and Russell is out of the jam.
Wouldn't it be great if suddenly you were in charge of the annual swimsuit issue, deciding things like how the models pose and who gets the cover? And wouldn't it be great if the models brought beer? Really great beer, like Keystone, the fresh, cold filtered beer in a can that tastes like beer in a bottle because of Keystone's specially lined can. And wouldn't it be great if later that day you all went bowling? Introducing Keystone and Keystone Light, bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great?
Which compact passenger van helps you stop best on the slippery curves you drive on? Chevy Astro or Dodge Caravan? Chevy's standard four-wheel anti-lock brakes help you make controlled stops. Dodge doesn't offer four-wheel anti-lock brakes. And look what can happen if the front wheels skid during braking. So stop and think. Chevy Astro gives you the technology of four-wheel anti-lock brakes. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Today's truck is Chevrolet.
Even when all of Company B heads for the phone, it's no problem for Gail Godfrey.
Delta Airlines, Gail Godfrey.
Y'all fly to Lubbock, Texas?
Yes, that is confirmed.
I got some friends who want to talk to you now. Just hold on a second. Thank you. Cincinnati, Ohio. New York City. Monroe, Louisiana.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
San Jose, California. Portland, Oregon. Pure Montana.
You're all set. Thank you for calling, Delta.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Gail. Did you get many calls this afternoon? One.
Delta, we love to fly, and it shows. Those chicken noodle sandwiches are ecstasy. Kentucky nugget soup made to a T. And don't forget that original recipe chicken.
Cross the road, Jack. Kentucky Fried Chicken's got more.
Cross the road, Jack.
Kentucky Fried Chicken's got more.
You know, a lot of people like to talk while they drive. Well, let me give you a tip. It's a lot easier with a unit-end cellular phone.
A teen's first date becomes her dad's worst nightmare.
I'm gonna put her in the basement with a chastity belt and a pit bull.
Join an all-star cast in a comedy adventure, Dream Date, tonight.
After his last frustrating at-bat in the 6th inning, Andre Dawson, who was hit on the hand in the 4th inning, has some tape to support the thumb. Meanwhile, Rick Russell takes a strike, and we're in the bottom of the 6th. 1-0 Chicago. Russell rolled to short in the 3rd inning. Off speed and away. Interesting. What's the old line? You never change up on a pitcher, which is an indication that Russell is a good hitter. Comebacker speared by Bielecki. So Bielecki up the ladder to the top rung to spear that one. He was fully extended.
Bielecki has been almost perfect all day. A good fielding pitcher. You can see the movement on the ball, either the breaking ball into the sinker. Boy, he's just not throwing the ball in the middle of the plate today. Vic Pohl saying he was so nervous, and the first time he pitched in this series, he definitely has calmed down. It's exactly what the Cubs have needed. A good, strong effort out of their starter.
I have a question to you. Would you be more inclined to be more nervous pitching at home in Wrigley Field than, let's say, he's out here in San Francisco living quietly in a hotel with the teammates? Would it be less here?
I think the nervousness would become the first time that you pitch in the playoffs or in postseason play. After that, the bout is underway, and the batter is being mixed, if you will, and you jump back in there at some point. I think the nervousness will come the first time that you participate in postseason play.
2 balls and no strikes to Brett Butler. That's in there, 2-1. The theory I was thinking about is that feelings, human feelings, rub off on other humans. We're social beings. So if Bielecki's in Chicago, all the well-wishers would have a tendency to tighten him up more. Here, he's a stranger in this city. Fouled away at the count 2-2.
I think one of the things you have to understand about the Cubs is that they are basically a young ball club. Girardi is a rookie. Rona, Walton, Wynn, Smith, Dunston, Grace. This is a relatively young ball club, and they make young mistakes, and they're going to have young nerves. That's to Zimmer's credit. He's done such a good job all year. What a beautiful pitch by Bielecki right on the inside corner.
The Butler is caught looking at strikeout number 6 for Mike Bielecki, who, by the way, is not exactly wet behind the ears. He's 30 years old.
Right on the inside corner. Remember the entire series, Brett Butler's been trying to go to left field with 2 strikes. There's no way he's going to get at that ball unless you try and pull it.
Robbie Thompson with a big at-bat now with Will Clark on deck. Thompson grounded out, popped up, 0 for 2, hitting .294. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Cubs 1, Giants nothing. 2-0. The only run, if you weren't with us, in the 3rd inning. Jerome Walden lifted a fly ball to left. For whatever reason, Kevin Mitchell did not pull his sunglasses down, lost it in the glare. It fell for a 2-base error, and then Ryan Sandberg doubled him home. And that's it. Fastball fouled away. 2-1.
Boy, he has good cuts at fastballs. Both Thompson and Williams really let it go with a fastball. One of the things that's impressive about those 2 guys is that they do not take the check swing. They do not take a half swing. They let it go on the fastball. When they see the pitch that they like, they let it fly.
And he missed low with the fastball. So now this very important at-bat. Thompson trying to get aboard any way he can and let Will Clark come up with a runner on base. Clark has struck out and singled and waits hungrily. On the corner. Robbie trying to will his way aboard, but Charlie Williams right there to call it.
But like he's been painting the back all day. That's the same kind of pitch opposite side of the plate that he struck Butler out on, right on the corner.
3-2. Drive to left field, going back is Wynn. He's there, and Bielecki does not have to look at Will Clark with a man aboard. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Friday means Baywatch.
Word gets out real fast when the surf's up.
Experience summer all season long. Friday means hardball.
That's standing only on 1 foot.
2 cops who play for keeps. Friday means Mancuso, FBI.
About right and wrong.
Batting cleanup against the country's worst offenders. It's a whole new ball game Friday.
Hey, can you cover a 1 o'clock meeting?
Ah, the virtues of milk.
Sure.
Milk is pleasantly slim on calories. And it helps supply carbohydrate to boost your energy level. Protein to keep up your stamina. And a bit of thiamine.
Oh, hi. I'm here for the meeting with Mr. James.
That's on the 2nd floor.
To keep your spirits up.
Tomorrow.
Milk, it does a body good.
Good afternoon, Dad. Keep your hands off the fender.
Did you read Chevron Supreme has high octane and Tetraline?
Is that right?
Maybe I could go fill it up.
Just to the gas station.
For even better performance, new Chevron Supreme has 25% more Tetraline. No gasoline's better.
3 hours? Gee, Dad, you didn't want me to mix the old gas with the new gas, did you?
Chevron, we're with you all the way.
We interrupt this program to throw an incredible curve in your plans. So hot, it's cool. So cool, it's hot. Acapulco, hotter than ever.
The FBI looking for a few good spies at 5.
Game 5 of the National League Championship Series is brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Thank you, Cubs, the fans, and the cheap seats. That's the sign outlined against that bright blue. And they are here in the cheap seats, the expensive seats. We've had crowds of over 62,000 for each of the first 2 games. And we figure to be somewhere up around that number again today. Sean Dunston, 0-1. We mentioned it earlier about that theory in the Bay Area, whether the Bay Area could support two baseball teams. It should be duly noted that the Giants and the Oakland A's combined drew over 4.5 million, and they intermingle. 2-0. Two balls, no strikes. Dunston hit back to the box and hit into a double play. Ground ball hard right under Matt Williams' glove and on out into left field. Dunston a turn and holding.
Good aggressive swing by Sean Dunston. You know, when you're facing Rick Russell, you're ahead in the count. Pretty much you're going to get something to hit. He just hit it like a bullet right by Matt Williams, who has been superb defensively through this entire series. Just hit too hard, and like a shot, you have to play in and protect against the bunt some.
Girardi popped up and grounded out. 1-0 Cubs. They get a leadoff man aboard, but only for the second time today. They have 1 run, 7 hits. The Giants, no runs, 2 hits. The Cubs have left 5. Dunston during the regular season, and admittedly, it's not the same, but you can see he stole 19. And time, checking with Martinez.
A lot of times you talk about the count, which count is best to bunt on, hit and run on. With Zim, you never know. He will do anything at any time.
One ball and no strikes.
One thing with Girardi, the thing on top of Zimmer's mind certainly is to stay out of the double play. Malecki is not a good hitting pitcher. There have been a couple of runs in his game in Chicago, but he is not known to be a good hitting pitcher.
Girardi has only sacrificed once this year. In looking at Girardi's numbers, he has struck out a little more than twice as many times as he walked. He didn't play that much. 1 ball, no strikes. Dunston at first. Nobody out.
Cubs are 3 good young catchers. Damon Berryhill, who has had shoulder problems. Girardi and Rona. Some of the talk around the playoffs, you see Damon Berryhill. The problems, not problems, are one of the possibilities that the Cubs trade one of their young catchers. Block on the commodity.
There goes Dunston. Hit and run ground ball right to Uribe, who was covering against the double play. If Uribe is not covering, that's a base hit to center field.
Another example of the good defense throughout this entire series. And it's a matter of one manager outfoxing the other in this situation. Zimmer trying to stay out of the double play. Uribe covering. Would expect the ball to be hit to the right side. Here Uribe covers.
Here's Bilecki. Ball 1. When the Giants come up in the bottom of the 7th inning, and you will hear a lot of noise then, they will have Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell, and Matt Williams on the corner. 1-1. Nothing Chicago. 2 out, top of the 7th. Out away.
You got to try something when you face a pitcher like Rick Russell, because the movement that he can put on the ball, and obviously he has good movement today, was awful in Chicago. At the hitting zone, he can put great movement on the ball, and you know he can sink the ball when he wants to. He's proven it today, getting a couple of ground balls right when he's needed them.
And that takes care of Bilecki, and the fact that Dunston had led off with a base hit. Right now, here's another edition of State Farm Rules of the Game. Rules of the game brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, folks. Doug Harvey back with you again during the League Championship Series. Tell you what we have today. We've got a line drive fair ball. Goes down the line, hits one of my young people, the ball boy's down there. But the kid's trying to get out of the way as best he can. I'll be back with you in a minute. We're going to tell you what we're going to do about this.
I'm State Farm Agent Richard Clay. I take care of the Barber family's insurance, their car, their home, and life insurance too. Jill and Sherman like the way State Farm handles all the details on their auto and home coverage. And when it comes to life insurance, they like the way I listen, to help them make sure that as their family grows, so does their State Farm protection.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, folks. Remember what we have. We have a line drive fair ball down the right field line. It hits the ball boy. All right, here's what happens. As long as that person is authorized to be on the field and interferes with a fair ball, the ball remains in play. That includes all bat persons, all security, anybody that's authorized to be out there. That's Rule 3.15. Please look it up.
That's today's edition of Rules of the Game, brought to you by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Come on, you better hurry up. Come on, you better hurry up.
It's here. Walt Disney's masterpiece, Bambi, now on video cassette. And Crest is proud to help make it yours.
Hello, Bambi. Hello, Bambi.
When you buy any two Crests and Bambi on video cassette, you'll not only get back $3, you'll get laughter, love, and excitement. It's an offer from Crest that'll make everybody smile.
Well, as promised, here comes the noise at Candlestick Park. Bottom of the seventh, 1-0 Chicago. Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell, and Matt Williams. Clark struck out and singled 1 for 2. A drive to right in the corner. Dawson slipped momentarily, and it's off his glove. And Clark is into second base, and he's going to keep on going to third. He is in there. Andre Dawson slipped, and by slipping, he could not really get his full glove on the ball, and that was the difference.
First pitch hitting, the first ball fastball hitter, Will Clark. And a drive down in the corner. We saw Pat Sheridan have a difficulty with the turf in right field earlier. We talked about how lush and green it is. It's very soft. The footing is not very secure. And that one just hesitation of a slip, enough to cost Dawson just a couple of inches that he needed. The ball right off the end of his glove. Now remember, Clark has been suffering with some sore legs. He's running well, but he's obviously in pain. And they may be trying to buy him some time here.
Clark stiff-legged with that right leg, able to get in there. And now he has waved the trainer away. Down in the Chicago bullpen, Mitch Williams and Les Lancaster. Williams, of course, the left-hander. So Bielecki, who had the leadoff man get aboard and reach third in the 5th inning, now really faces a challenge. The tying run 90 feet away. Nobody out. Mitchell, Williams, and Kennedy trying to pick it up. And the infield in. Off speed for a strike. 0-1. Mitchell has struck out twice today. So a tough break for Bielecki. In fact, 2 tough breaks. The slip and then the drop. 0-1. High fly ball to dead center. Back goes Walden on the track. And coming in is Clark to tie it up 1-1. In a sense, the scales have balanced for Bilecki. Because remember, the only Cub run was the fly ball lost by Kevin Mitchell. Though it's only right, I guess, that Mitchell should drive in the run to cancel it out. And it's 1-1 in the 7th. And the batter, Matt Williams. Ball 1, breaking ball. One run, 7 hits for the Cubs, who have wasted opportunities. 1 run, 3 hits for the Giants, who have not wasted opportunities and cashed in the run they needed. Ball 2.
With the infield playing in, Bilecki certainly need the strikeout against Mitchell. It got the fastball up and out over the plate. More importantly, up in the strike zone. Well, you go against Kevin Mitchell, who had 125 RBIs during the season. You got to play the infield in. You got a tough job.
2-0. Ball 3. Bilecki has not had any help from his hitters. 3 times the Cubs had runners at first and third today and came up empty. 3-0 to Matt Williams. And there was certainly nothing automatic with his power that he was taking anything, especially a 3-0 fastball.
Boy, he let it go, too, didn't he? You saw Robbie Thompson earlier. I mean, let it go on a fastball. There are no half swings. They let her fly when they got a chance and get that fastball.
3-1. And another one. 3-2. Bilecki with a half a dozen strikeouts. He has allowed 3 hits. So Craig and Zimmer, the good buddies, are even in the game. But Craig, a decided favorite, leading 3 games to 1. Foul back out of play. He gave him a breaking ball that time just to change the pace. So after all those fastballs, he came back 3-2 curve.
Williams got the 3-2 fastball last night off of Steve Wilson and hit it out of here. You can see how way out in front. Changing speeds and gets Williams way out. They'd be looking again from middle half in. And if you're going to throw it in there, you got to really pop it on the inside.
3-2. Fastball hit down the left field line, hooking, foul. Boy, does he turn on that fastball.
Watch how far inside he's got to come to get the ball. See him collapse? In order to hit that ball hard, he has to roll that top hand over. Boy, and you're messing with dynamite in there, and you're talking about just fractions of an inch.
3-2.
That makes a difference.
Change got him. Oh, what a pitch by Bilecki. A 3-2 off-speed pitch, and Matt Williams way out in front of it. Now, that was a pitcher's pitch.
The pitch last night that Steve Wilson did not make after throwing about 12 pitches to Matt Williams was the off-speed pitch. He'd proven that he could get the bat head out on the fastball, and Bilecki saw it. The speed on that pitch, 68 miles an hour. Big difference between that and the fastball. Way out in front. A good pitch by Bilecki.
Strike 1 to Terry Kennedy. 2 down, 7th inning. A 1-1 tie. Fouled away, 0-2.
Well, it looked like Bilecki had lost his composure just a little bit when the Giants had tied it up. Matt Williams ran the count to 3-0 through some of the worst pitches that he threw all day. But he really showed me something there. He came right back and got Williams. Good regaining of his own composure.
No balls, 2 strikes to Terry Kennedy. 1-2.
Remember the first pitch to Williams, a breaking ball way and outside, game tied. He's been pitching a gem so far. Didn't get any help from the bench. I thought maybe Dick Pohl would go out there just to say a couple of words to settle him down, but he got it done by himself.
1-2. Fastball hit to short. Dunston cranks it up again, and that's it. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 slip, 1 drop, and at the end of 7, a 1-1 tie.
It's a feeling of power, of substance and style. You know that you're on your way. The great American road belongs to Buick. Oh, the moment has come to go your way. The road, your Buick and you. Oh, the great American road belongs to Buick.
My Uncle Roy T. Cashin was killed when I was 11 years old. It had a lot to do with me wanting to become a volunteer fireman.
Good morning, Neil. How you doing?
We have a lot of trust in each other because our lives are in each other's hands.
Many of these firefighters trust Neil Cashin with their life insurance. He's been with New York Life a long time, and with the fire department even longer.
If he's in a building with you, you don't have to worry about him leaving on you.
New York Life, the company you keep.
Over 500,000 times tonight, we'll be delivering in 30 minutes or less. Sometimes we even arrive a little early. So tonight, call us, because nobody delivers better than Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's Pizza right now and get 2 hot pizzas for 1 hot price. Nobody delivers better, so call now.
Send up a crow's foot. Give me an app check.
There's a place in the friendly skies where not everyone's so friendly.
Stop. Hold it. I need 3 hours minimum.
Check it out.
Over 9,000 mechanics of United Airlines work
Give me
here.
a mini grinder.
They're picky, fussy, stubborn. But if you fly, they're the best friends you'll ever have. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
I'm Bryant Gumbel. Tomorrow morning on Today, the political side of the abortion debate.
I'm Jane Pauley, also mystery writer Robert Parker, and how to get your kids to clean up their room.
Tomorrow morning on Today.
Will Clark leading off the inning, hitting a triple down that right field corner. First pitch hitting. You can see how he's kind of dragging that right leg. Heavily taped, and he took a little bit of time to make sure he was okay when he got there, but Will Clark, a first ball fastball hitter, boy, and he rifled down that right field corner.
Jerome Walden, 1 for 3, breaking ball away, ball 1. Russell has gotten his team into the 8th inning, and as he works on Walden, Craig Lefferts begins to throw back of him for another reason as well. Russell is due up 3rd when the Giants hit in the bottom of the 8th. 2-0 the count to Walden. Singled in the first inning. Hit the fly ball that was lost in the glare by Mitchell and grounded to short. He scored on Sandberg's double. That's the only Cub run. So the only scoring today are on balls that should have been caught by Mitchell and by Dawson. And the count 3-0 to Jerome Walden.
We talked how Rick Russell will show you at the beginning of the game if in fact he has it. Good movement on the hitting. On the ball when it gets to the hitting zone now, first hitter here in the 8th, he's run the count to 3-0.
And that's his first walk of the day. Remember, he hit Dawson, but that's the first walk. And that could be a storm signal for Roger Craig. He'll be watching him now as Ryne Sandberg comes up. It's the 3rd time today the leadoff man has gotten aboard. We have a moment to remind you, Wednesday night on NBC, a terrific lineup waiting for you. An all-new Unsolved Mysteries. 2nd, a new Night Court. 3rd, the critically acclaimed new comedy series Nut House. And batting cleanup, a brand new episode of Quantum Leap. A great night of entertainment on NBC Wednesday. Ryne Sandberg has played in 10 league championship games and has had at least 1 hit in every one of them. Today, struck out, doubled in a run, and popped up. Fastball strike, and it's the rare fastball that Sandberg has taken in this series.
Well, it looked like it took him by surprise, too. You know Zim's going to do something somewhere here in this inning. Top of the 8th. An 86-mile-an-hour fastball on the inside part of the plate. Chuck Cartier flashing the signs.
Walden stole 24 during the regular year, and they know it.
I think the question with him is just trying to figure out on what pitch he's going to do it on. There's Cartier.
You can put a play on with Sandberg, and that's a luxury, despite the fact that Ryan had 30 home runs. He had way over 600 at-bats and did not strike out 100 times. And he bunts. Russell will make the play to first. So Walden takes second, and the batter will be Marvell Wynn. That is really an interesting bit of strategy. Here you have a great hitter in the number 2 slot, a 30 home run hitter. You're on the road, and yet Zimmer, known for playing wide open baseball, becomes very, very conservative. Maybe because he's down 3-1, but that seems very much unlike Don Zimmer.
Took a very conservative approach indeed. I think big part of that is a compliment to Russell and the move that he has to first base. That is probably the one factor that made him put on the bunt in that situation. Sandberg hits the ball to the right side as well as anybody in the Cub lineup.
Ball 1 to Marvell Wynn. Wynn playing for Dwight Smith. Fouled out to Kennedy. Flied to center and singled to center. He's 1 for 3. Walden trying to get a big lead, and the Giants, like bookends, trying to put a squeeze on him. Ground ball to the left side as Thompson has to go back to get it. And moving over to third is Walden. Thompson could not afford to put on a good fake. Had he, that ball was hit to his left side and it would have gone through. So here comes Mark Grace. And Kennedy is looking over to the dugout as if to say, what are we going to do? Remember, Andre Dawson is the next hitter.
You don't think this is going to cause a meeting or two? Roger Craig on his way to the mound. I don't know whether it's for a new pitcher, if it's a discussion with his catcher and pitcher about what they want to do, how they want to do it. A lot of action in the Giant bullpen. It doesn't look like he is going to change pitchers. Roger's a lot like Russell in the sense his demeanor seems to be the same all the time. There it is. It's a discussion of how we want to go about this. I'd be very surprised if they pitch to him.
Mark Grace is only hitting .647. They walked him intentionally once. That was in game 2. The outman has been Andre Dawson, and he is on deck. And they're going to walk Grace, and again, Andre Dawson will be in the pressure spot.
You know, Roger Craig feels that it's going to be a one-run ball game, and he's playing a one-run ball game. It doesn't look like you're going to win a game 4-3 or 3-2 if Dawson hits the ball out. Really doesn't make a difference because it looks like it's a 2-1 game anyway.
It's amazing, and occasionally it will happen. I go back to the 1952 World Series, the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Yankees, and the great Gil Hodges. He couldn't buy a hit. And now here in 1989, the great Andre Dawson, who has been the heartbeat of the Cubs for the last couple of years, the most valuable player in 1987. But it has all turned to chalk ever since the knee operation. And Zimmer has said it's been a tough year for him. He has struggled, but I'm staying with him. And he has struggled today as he has in every game. Dawson with first and third in the first inning struck out. With first and third in the sixth inning, popped out to shallow right. And here he is with first and third and 2 out in the 8th in a 1-1 tie. Ball 1.
Really a better hitter when he goes up the middle. And Uribe is playing way around to pull on the infield. A big hole up the middle.
See if he's changed his stance at all. See if that left foot is still as close to home plate as it was in the first couple, an indication he was pressing. Fouled away. 1-1. Well, they say Chicago is the city of the broad shoulders, and Andre Dawson certainly needs some broad shoulders. He's been carrying quite a weight. Now that left foot does not appear to be quite as close to the plate as it was the first 2 at-bats.
Boy, and he's trying to go right up the middle, too. He sees the hole up the middle.
1-1. Foul back, out of play. That's another thing about when a hitter is struggling. It seems like he inherits a count. Every time you look up on the scoreboard, there's 2 strikes. And now the entire crowd up and at him yet again. going, fouled away. So they had Mark Grace going to take a force play away. It's pretty tough for the Giants to get a force play with Uribe so deep in the hole and Thompson wandering on the rim in a deep second base position to increase his range.
Mark Grace going and nobody covering. They don't really care about Mark Grace at first base. There's a sense in a ball game, but you know the end of the game is going to be alike. You know what the score at the end is going to be like. I know that Roger Craig has sensed that this is somewhere is a 2-1 game.
Well, you talk about the loneliness of the long-distance runner. How about the loneliness of Andre Dawson right now? Little tapper back to Russell.
Nice cold bud?
And where does she come from?
Ooh, honey, don't come near me, please.
Oh, I can't. No, it's not a good idea.
Oh, no, baby, not right now.
Oh, sweetie. You don't want to get too close.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients to kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Kiss me.
What are you waiting for?
Great kiss.
You may kiss me now.
Scope, the best thing first thing in the morning.
They were the biggest men I'd ever seen. They lifted my mama's couch like it was a toy. I ran to my room, but it was gone. But my mama was still there.
If you die, will they have to say goodbye to your house as well? Ask an Allstate agent about mortgage protection and make your family a promise we'll help you keep.
As we drove away, I watched my house get smaller and smaller until it wasn't there anymore.
Teach your team to play the right way with Major League Baseball's A Coaching Clinic. It's a great training video for coaches, dads, and moms, and a great learning video for individual players. To order your VHS copy, send check or money order for $19.95 to Major League Baseball, Box 88, Trenton, New Jersey, 08561. Or call 1-800-543-7800. New York and New Jersey residents add sales tax. The proceeding was furnished by Major League Baseball.
For the third consecutive day, the largest crowd to ever see a baseball game at Candlestick Park. It's been 62,078, 62,065 in the first game, and somehow they've been able to shoehorn another 6 people in here today. 62,084 to see Ken Oberkfell lead off batting for Pat Sheridan. 1-1 in the 8th. 0-1. Oberkfell, who has boarded on the phenomenal for the Giants this year. The veteran with 18 pinch hits. Off-speed strike, and the count 1-1. The same duo in the Chicago bullpen, Mitch Williams and Les Lancaster, the right-hander. Ball 2.
Well, like he just had 100 pitches. And the head of his hitters throwing strikes.
Fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cubs got a run in the 3rd. Kevin Mitchell lost a fly ball in the sun for an error. Sandberg's double picked him out. In the 7th inning, Andre Dawson slipped going after a fly ball by Clark, got his glove on it, couldn't hold it. That went as a triple, and Mitchell's fly ball picked him up, and that's it. 1-1, bottom of the 8th. Just inside, ball 3.
How ironic in a series where runs have been scoring by the bushel-full. Comes down to what might be the last game of this series, and looks like a 2-1 ball game.
3-2 to Ken Obergfell. Foul back. Well, you realize the first two games, it was as if they were just warming up. 11-3 and 9-5. Then they moved out here, and it was another story. The scores were 5-4, 6-4, and today 1-1 in the 8th.
Took a long time for the pitchers to get warm, didn't it?
And the chant, OB, OB. 3-2. Foul ball, back and out of play.
Elliott, you're diving over there. That's the second foul ball. It's come back near you. You're not even making a play. Come on. Elliott Galba, Mr. Stats in the booth. He's backing off. That's not like you, Elliott. Take charge over there.
We're in the bottom of the 8th inning in a 1-1 tie. The Cubs desperately trying to stay afloat. Fastball hit in the air to left field. Marvell Wynn is there. 1 out in the 8th. That will bring up Jose Uribe. If you're not keeping score and you wonder about the Cubs in the 9th inning, it will be Salazar, Dunston, and Girardi. And Mike Bielecki is due to bat 4th in the 9th inning.
Another thing with Will Clark getting the triple, the base hit in the 7th, he ensured that he would at least come to the bat in the 9th.
Uribe lined out to center and flied to left. Salazar about even with the bag at third. Grace guarding the line back of the bag at first. And Rick Russell out on deck. It could be that Uribe, who takes a strike, will determine Russell's future in the game. It could be if Uribe gets aboard, Roger is thinking of hitting for Russell, otherwise staying with him. Bedrosian down in the pen. 1-1 to Jose Uribe. So this would appear to be a very important at-bat for Uribe. And we'll see about whether Roger has to make that decision. On the corner. Good fastball. 1-2.
I think Uribe liked that one. That ball looked like it was way outside.
One ball, 2 strikes. Breaking ball got him. So Uribe strikes out. Now let's see about Russell. They are going to hit for him anyway. Candy Maldonado will come up and bat because Obergfell had hit for Sheridan and they need a right fielder. So Maldonado coming up. That is the 8th strikeout for Mike Bielecki. And here's the Candyman hitting for Russell. So Russell went 8 innings, allowed 1 run, 7 hits, walked 2, struck out 4. So Russell turned in a tremendous effort. And he's been met head on by his former buddy and teammate, Mike Bielecki.
Roger Craig going not only with a right fielder to replace Sheridan, somebody that has some pop. Maldonado, good power. He can hit the ball out of here, and that's the kind of pinch hitter you would like with 2 outs and nobody on. Somebody that can pop the ball for you.
Maldonado has had only 5 at-bats against Bielecki all year. He's 0 for 5 in his career going up against a right-hander.
In a situation here with 2 outs, nobody on, if he can, Maldonado's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark as a pitcher. Make him hit it out to right field. Don't make the mistake on the inside part of the plate where he can use his strength and hit it out to left.
1 ball and no strikes. Salazar very deep at third. The Cubs are not worrying about a bunt from Maldonado, who does everything well but run.
Cubs concerned about the 2-base hit. Outfield is very deep. Infield is deep.
1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Maldonado had 7 base hits during the year as a pinch hitter. A couple of years ago, he set a Giant record with 17 pinch hits, and that was broken by Ken Oberkfell this year. Dick Cole, Don Zimmer sweating it out. 1-1, bottom of the 8th. Change, got it over. 1-2.
Mike Bilecki's been able to change speeds, so every one of his pitches for strikes, Giant hitters have not been able to sit on any one pitch. Changing speeds, pitching inside, outside, both sides of the plate, up and down. He has pitched masterfully today.
1-2. Fastball hit down the right field line, slicing foul and out of play. Maldonado hit 9 home runs for the Giants this year. To repeat, Cubs in the 9th, Salazar, Dunston, and Girardi, and Bilecki due up 4th. One and 2 to Maldonado.
Second time that he's shook his head like that before a pitch, throwing a pitch, and every time that he's done it, throwing a fastball.
1-2. Down and away, ball 2. 2-2. On deck, Brett Butler. So Zimmer has piloted his club this far, a team that experts thought would lose 100 games, and he's gotten them this close. Chopper up along third, foul. 2-2. You have to remember, too, when the Cubs left spring training, they had only won 9 games. I think their record was like 9-24 in spring training. And who would have ever believed that the Cubs, from that poor beginning, would wind up winning the National League East and playing the Giants?
A lot of people were very down on them because they made the trade for Mitch Williams, giving up Palmeiro, a 300 hitter.
Deuces wild on Maldonado and a 1-1 tie in the 8th. Breaking ball in the dirt. So he's gone 3-2 to Maldonado. Bilecki, by the way, in striking out 8, has not walked a batter. Russell went into the 8th inning before he walked a batter, and then he walked another one intentionally. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Big pitch. Breaking ball, hit foul. So put that in your notebook. Bilecki coming back 3-2 breaking ball.
A lot of confidence in the breaking ball because he's been able to get it over most of the day. 3-2, he threw a bad one. Here you see. Boy, Maldonado, a good cut on that, too.
We had 2 sequences of 12 pitches in this series. One to Mark Grace, and then last night to Matt Williams. This is the 9th pitch to Maldonado. Lifted foul out of play. So we go to 10 pitches. Bottom of the 8th, 2 out, bases empty. 3-2 to Candy Maldonado, hitting for Rick Russell. Ball 4, off speed, and it appeared as if he held on to the ball much too long. His release point was so late, he almost threw it in the dirt.
Bilecki on that last pitch, the breaking ball, you got a sense that, listen, I have a big, strong right-handed hitter up here. I've given him about 9 or 10 pitches. You know, I either make a perfect pitch on the outside part of the plate right in the corner or I walk him. I don't care. One of the things that Steve Wilson did not do last night, Matt Williams had fouled so many pitches off. His timing got better and better and better. A lot of times the base on balls against the power hitter is not the worst thing in the world that can happen to you. Remember, Maldonado, as Vinny said, does not have decent speed.
Candy at first, 2 down, and Brett Butler the batter. Grace, however, is still on the bag, and they'll try to take a step away from Maldonado, hoping to convert it, if anything, into a forced play at second. Butler is fouled out, grounded out, struck out, a man who has built a reputation, and deservedly so, of being a fine bunter, and he has not tried to bunt today. Ball one. Bilecki under tremendous pressure, and might very well have spent a lot of petrol in the 7th inning when Clark tripled, and then he had to face Mitchell, Williams, and Kennedy. Zimmer satisfied with what he sees, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. However, Bilecki will be making his 24th pitch this inning, and we're late in the game, in the 8th. 1-0 to Brett Butler. Fastball, and it's in there. It's the first time he's come back with that for a while after nibbling with Maldonado. 1-1.
Cub defense playing to left. You're certainly in this situation. Try not to give Butler something that'll be able to pull. Most of the time in his entire series, he's been trying to go to left field, especially with 2 strikes. But the book on him is pitch him away, play him away. Salazar in close at third.
1-1. Ball 2. On deck, Robbie Thompson.
The defense in this situation in the outfield has to try to prevent the double. Runner on first, a possibility of scoring certainly on a 2-base hit. And you have to cheat in the outfield and back up just a step or 2 to protect the 2-base hit.
2-1 to Butler. Strike, 2 out. Fouled away, 2-2. So we get back to a deuces wild situation. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Maldonado at first, bottom of the 8th in a 1-1 tie.
Talking about Brett Butler going to left field with 2 strikes, which he's tried to do the entire series, and it doesn't look like he's been trying to drive the ball that way either. He's just been trying to push the ball to left field. He hasn't had any real good aggressive swings to left field the entire series. Marville went very deep and left.
Maldonado takes his biggest lead in the sequence. He's not going, and it's ball 3. So that's an edge for the Giants. Maldonado will be under a full head of steam, and Grace is telling Mike Bilecki he's coming off the bag. So when you get down to the nitty-gritty like this, you hate to go to a full count. It's a slight advantage, but this late in the game, a slight advantage can be the difference between winning and losing. And the crowd is up again. For Bilecki, the 28th pitch in the inning. Maldonado goes, and it's fouled away. So he'll make 29.
This is a situation where the first baseman would really like to know what the pitch is. If it looks like a pitch he's not going to have hit at him, he's got to stay there and try and keep Maldonado as close to first base as he can. Maldonado's way off on the delivery.
3-2. 2 down, 8th inning, a 1-1 tie. Maldonado goes, ball 4. And Don Zimmer going to the mound, and that might be enough. 30 pitches in the inning, and Mike Bilecki's needle might very well be on empty. He got Oberkfell and Uribe, nibbled with Maldonado after getting 2 quick strikes, went 3-2 and walked him. Came right back to nibble with Butler 3-2 and walk him. He's made 127 pitches in the game, and Zimmer wants to find out, is there anything left in the tank?
The pitcher will tell you when he's run out of gas, Vinny, exactly when that needle is on zero. The pitches are up and away. 2 pitches in that sequence to Butler, high in the strike zone, up and away to the left-hander. You got to know how to buy a little bit extra time for your arm. When it gets fatigued, it doesn't get through, and you don't drive the ball to home plate, and you have to buy a little extra time with your left leg. Zimmer convinced that he's all right.
Well, Robbie Thompson, a fastball hitter coming up. He is grounded to Grace, popped to short and flied to left. Maldonado at second, Butler at first, 2 out in the 8th in a 1-1 tie. The Cubs trying to hang on for dear life, and the Giants trying to win it. Breaking ball in the dirt, a good save by Girardi. Boy, that's the last thing he wants to do. Throw one away now with Will Clark on deck.
A little bit of fatigue, and sometimes a pitcher will try to overthrow the ball. Certainly Thompson, first ball fastball hitter. Galecki wanted to start him off with a breaking ball, tried to overthrow it.
1-0. Low again, ball 2. Boy, what a sweat job this is. 1-1, bottom of the 8th. Maldonado, the possible winning run, trying to take as much of a lead as possible, and he can take a big lead. Ball 3. And waiting on deck is Don Zimmer's nightmare, Will Clark. And they're up and at him again. 3-0 to Robbie Thompson. Ball 4. Leo DeRocher used to have an expression, stick a fork in him, he's done. And that's the story for Bielecki. With 2 out, he walked Maldonado, he walked Butler, he walks Thompson. Now, will we have the classic confrontation? Will we have Mitch Williams pitching to Will Clark? Maybe. Mitch Webster is coming in, and the Cubs will make a couple of changes. Andre Dawson, who made the last out in the 8th inning, will come out of the game. And Mitch Williams will go in Dawson's spot. Mitch Webster will bat 9th, and the Cubs are hanging by a thread with 2 out, bases loaded in the 8th in a 1-1 tie. Well, you bet we'll be right back.
No place like America. Anywhere, every face tells a different story, but there's a taste we all share. America's meat and potatoes, quarter pounder or McDLT, golden fries made America's way. That's meat and potatoes, McDonald's USA.
It's wide open spaces leading straight to the sun. Your spirit is soaring with you. The great American road belongs to you. It's the promise of freedom. You can feel it inside on a road that leads to your dreams. Oh, the great American road belongs to Buick.
I'm Gene Morvig, State Farm agent. Right now, millions of drivers 50 years of age and over are saving important money with a State Farm discount, just like my policyholders, the Bimas. And now, because Ralph and Nyla are over 50, they're saving important money with a State Farm discount. If you are 50 or over and you want great service and savings too, talk to a State Farm agent now.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
As you can see, the house is completely renovated with the very best heating and cooling system.
Must be a Lennox.
So we put in this new central air, and our bills are really...
Down?
Exactly.
Must be a Lennox.
Our furnace? Not a day of trouble, ever.
Must be a good one.
Must be a Lennox.
It must be.
Lennox Heating and Air Conditioning. Since 1895. Must be a Lennox.
Attaboy, Dave.
I guess maybe we should have figured it would come down to this. Will Clark with a chance to win it. The bases loaded, 2 out, and the wild thing. Mitch Williams on the mound. Tremendous pressure on Williams to throw strikes. And he's had problems with the leadoff hitter. There's a strike. Mike Bialecki turned in a tremendous effort, only to walk 3 in a row after 2 are out in the 8th inning. 0-1 to Clark. He has singled and tripled, fouled away, and the count 0-2. We wondered when we would see Mitch Williams. Where was Mitch Williams? We saw him briefly once, but he is center stage now.
Cubs are finally moving Jerome Walton over in center field. Park is trying to go to left field every time against the left-handers.
0-1, and Girardi, of course, handling that hard stuff from an erratic left-hander. There is tremendous pressure on young Joe to stay with it. Maldonado is at third. Butler is at second. Thompson is at first. And Will Clark hitting .632 in the series. High foul down the line and out of play. And it's still 1-2. Remember, they're still in 9th inning. And the Cubs will have Salazar, Dunston, and Girardi. One ball, 2 strikes. Foul back. In every important series, there comes that very important moment where it's difficult to breathe, difficult to swallow. This is that moment. Line drive, base hit. In comes one. In comes Butler. Going to third is Thompson. 3-1, San Francisco.
Your marriage will never end.
Always last.
Your children will never grow old. The Western will never die. Capture it on an 8-hour T160, and we guarantee you a lifetime of replays and re-records. For life, for sure, forever. BASF, tape that lasts forever.
Thank you. And so, Mayor, these swiftly flowing currents create energy, which in turn creates power, which in turn brings electric light to every house in the valley.
That's very impressive, Calvin. Thank you, sir. But the contract calls for bringing Bud Lights to the valley.
No wonder we're over budget.
For clean, fresh taste, one light outshines them all.
Which in turn keeps the Bud Light cold.
Because everything else is just a light.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make most of who you are. Where the race is run, you're the champion. Gillette,
The Gillette Atra Plus system and Gillette Foamy Shave Cream, together the best a man can get.
Ball one to Kevin Mitchell, with Les Lancaster having replaced a downcast, inconsolable Mitch Williams. But Mitch has to remember what Butler said about Will Clark. Remember when Butler was asked the difference between Kevin Mitchell and Will Clark. Brett Butler said, Mitchell is a good player having a great year. Clark is a great player. And Clark, as great players will do, in the great pressure of the moment, delivered the base hit to put the Giants out in front. 3-1 in the 8th. On the corner, 1-2. 3 runs, 4 hits for the Giants. 1 run, 7 hits for the Cubs. Bottom of the 8th. 1-2. 2-2. In the inning, Oberkfell flied to left, and Uribe struck out. And then suddenly, Bielecki had run out of gas after a magnificent performance. He walked 3 in a row. Had the Cubs done any timely hitting, and they had the opportunities, he would have had a margin for error. Ball 3. But the Cubs wasted opportunities in the 1st inning, in the 4th inning, in the 6th inning, and in the 8th inning. And as they teach you in kindergarten, waste not, want not. And the Cubs have wasted, and they're wanting. Tom Seaver is on his way to the San Francisco Giant clubhouse, and Mike Schmidt has moved over to the Chicago Cub clubhouse as we try to cover the entire story on and off the field. There's ball 4 to load him up again. So the Giants, much to the delight of this huge crowd, have received 4 walks and a base hit to take a 3-1 lead. And the jackpot man is coming up again. Matt Williams, who has hit 3 grand slams in his career, one last year and twice this year. Andre Dawson thinking of what might have been, and for Andre, he'll be carrying a weight throughout the winter. Fastball, ball 1. To repeat, Salazar, Dunston, and Girardi in the 9th inning for the Cubs. But the Giants now are riding the crest of a wave of tremendous emotion here. High pop fly. Now let's see. Sandberg and Dunston. Dunston is calling. He's got it. However, thanks to 4 walks and a single by Will Clark, the Giants are 3 outs away from the World Series.
It's a feeling of power, of substance and style. You know that you're on your way. The great American road belongs to Buick. Oh, the moment has come to go your way. The road, your Buick and you. Oh, the great American road belongs to Buick.
Sure's new outdoor fresh scent is like a breath of fresh air.
Raise your hand, you feel fresh now. Raise your hand, you feel clean now. You feel confident, secure.
Now get odor and wetness protection you can count on in a new fresh scent you'll love.
Raise your hand, fresh and new now. Raise your hand, you feel cool now.
Try new Sure outdoor fresh scent, as clean and fresh as all outdoors.
Raise your hand if you're sure. It goes with the guys that hang in the sky. It goes with the lows. It goes with the highs. It goes with the girls who live in the sun. It's part of the job.
sea of emotion. 62,084 screaming for the sheer joy of making noise. As the Giants lead the Cubs 3-1, Andy Maldonado, who started off the 8th inning rally with a walk, is now in right field. Steve Bedrosian will be the new pitcher. So Bedrosian, who went head-to-head last night with the bases loaded in the 9th and struck out Andre Dawson, is now given the ball, asked to save this one for Rick Russell. Salazar, Dunston, and Girardi coming up. And this becomes somewhat of a bittersweet moment for all of us at NBC. It has nothing to do with the final score. It has everything to do with the fact, should the Cubs lose, this will be our last game on NBC Sports. 4-1. The Cubs, plagued by first baseman Steve Garvey in 1984, hounded and plagued by Will Clark in 1989. 1-1. There have been a lot of dedicated people trying to capture the flavor and the story of every game ever televised on NBC. And to each and every one of them, a heartfelt thanks. Ball 2, 2-1. Salazar grounded to third, single to right, grounded to second, 1 for 3. He's hit in all 5 games. On the corner, 2-2. An interesting thought. The World Series will be dedicated to the memory of A. Bartlett Giamatti. And if Oakland and the Giants play the World Series, a ground ball back to third. Williams gets rid of it in a hurry to get him. 1 away. And now, as it looks like the Giants will play Oakland in the memory of Bartlett Giamatti, the 4 letters here in the San Francisco and Bay Area that mean so much to the people who live here. The Bay Area Rapid Transit, B-A-R-T. Sean Dunston hit back to the box, grounded into a double play, single to left in the 7th inning. Curtis Wilkerson is on deck to hit for Girardi. A strike. So the Cubs are frustrated and the Giants are euphoric. The Giants have reason to be happy, but the Cubs really do not have to feel let down. They had a magnificent year, considering how they turned the tables on the experts. A fly ball to Kevin Mitchell and Brett Butler. It will be Mitchell. And the Giants are 1 out away from their 2nd World Series, the other one in 1962. And what was it Studs Terkel said about Chicago and the Cubs? He said they're more endearing when they lose. They have a loser's quality. And what was it Mike Royko said? That the Cubs, like life itself, is a losing cause. That's why they have cemeteries in Wrigley Field. So this will add to the lore of the Cubs. With their great fans, they are 1 out away from going down again. And for the Giants, who have had ghosts of past times, they're 1 out away from shaking them loose. They lost the series in '62. They lost the league championship series in '71. They lost the league championship series in '87. But the Giants now are 1 out away from brushing away all those cobwebs. 1-1 to Curtis Wilkerson. And the Cubs are down to their last strike. Like Kansas City, they've gone about as far as they can go. But not San Francisco. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Little looper into left field, base hit. So Curtis Wilkerson hits a flare into left field, a 2-out reprieve in the 9th inning. For the Cubs, their 8th hit, but they have left 7 men on today. The Oakland A's won yesterday and clinched with only 4 hits against Toronto, and the Giants are trying to clinch it today with only 4 hits. And the batter is Mitch Webster. Webster hit .257 during the regular year with 3 home runs. No balls, 1 strike. Line drive, base hit to center. And the Cubs, as they have done all year, refuse to go quietly into that good night. 2-out singles, and the batter will be Jerome Walton. For Chicago, 9 hits. Everyone in the starting lineup, with the exception of Andre Dawson, a base hit. And once again, there's the thought about Andre shouldering all the pain and the frustration of the series. The man who has contributed so much to the Chicago Cubs. Jerome Walton singled, aboard on an error, grounded out and walked. Line drive into center, base hit. Here comes Wilkerson to score. Stopping is Webster, and the Cubs refuse to quit. It is 3-2 San Francisco. Boy, it has been a remarkable Cub team this year, and Roger Craig is not taking anything for granted. He's gone out to see Bedrosian. With 2 out, Bilecki walked 3 and then gave up the base hit. And with 2 out, Bedrosian has given up 3 consecutive singles. The Giants 3 runs on 4 hits. The Cubs 2 runs on 10 hits. What must be so frustrating for the Cubs, during the regular year, they left the fewest number of men on base in the National League. And they have squandered base hits like a sailor on shore lead in this series. And the batter will be Ryne Sandberg. With Webster, the tying run at second. Mark Grace turning his cap inside out, the so-called rally hat. Sandberg struck out, doubled in a run, popped up, and sacrificed. It was so surprising to see Sandberg sacrifice in the 8th inning. He had sacrificed once all year. Breaking ball hit to Robbie Thompson, and that's it. if there is one thing tougher than losing, it's being forced to sit there and watch the winners. We'll follow the story into the locker rooms in a moment. And we will be right back.
When Li Qin takes care of the Chinese National Airlines' new Boeing 757s, he uses Craftsman tools because Craftsman are tough precision tools. And the hand tools are guaranteed forever. So a lot of people buy them because they know they can always return them. And some buy them because they know they can't. Great low prices every day. Craftsman quality. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
Got a cold? Gotta get Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine.
It works.
It's fast. Alka-Seltzer Plus. The fizz works fast.
This is a machine designed to make travel easier. And these are its most important parts. The men and women of American Airlines.
The San Francisco Giants and the Chicago Cubs have finished their work for the year against each other. For the Giants, it now means on against the Oakland A's in the World Series. And the Bay Area Series will become the 12th Metropolitan Series in baseball history. Ironically, the first Metropolitan World Series involved the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Cubs back in 1906. New York pretty much had a handle on it. 1944, a war year, St. Louis had a Metropolitan Series. In 1971, the A's won the title and lost to Baltimore. The Giants won the West but lost to Pittsburgh. The A's smarting from the defeat last year to the Dodgers. The Giants lost their only World Series as San Francisco Giants to the New York Yankees. So it is a new page for the 1989 World Series. And now let's go down to the Giant clubhouse and to Tom Seaver.
Thank you very, very much. Of course, the National League champions now, Roger Craig, Bob Lurie, the owner of the San Francisco Giants, Al Rosen, the general manager. And it's my pleasure to introduce Bill White, the president of the National League, who is going to present the championship trophy to this trio who have done a magnificent job with the San Francisco Giants. Bill?
Tom, this is the Warren Giles Trophy, and Roger and Bob and Al, it gives me great pleasure to give the San Francisco Giants this trophy today.
Well, it gives us more pleasure, Bill, to accept it. It's a great, great thrill. Thank you so much.
I'll give it to you.
Okay, we're all going to share it. We're a team.
We'll let the man in the middle hold it, right?
Okay, yeah, with at least two strong guys next to me, but we're a team. These are the two best in the world, and I couldn't be happier.
Al, you got to be very happy the way you put this team together and the way they've been resilient and the way that they have won. They won the way they did all year long with their pitching out of the bullpen, with the defense and the power.
Well, that attests to Roger's skill in handling and pitching staff. And I want to say the Cubs never gave up. Lecky was fantastic today. Don Zimmer and the Cubs did great. We're fortunate, very fortunate to be here.
Second time, Roger Craig, your ball club in the last 3 years has won the division. Now you're not turned away. 87 was frustrating. This time you went out and you got the trophy. You must feel very proud for your ball club.
You know, Tom, a lot of things have happened in my life, a lot of great things, but I think this is one of the happiest moments, you know, to be managing in the World Series and to be the manager of this great ball club, and the way they come back and the way they play. You know, I take my hat off to them. They're an outstanding ball club. There's a lot of people out there listening and watching that we want to thank you for all the support and everything, and it's great to be the champions. Now we've got to go to see what we can do with Oakland.
We know that there must be a touch of sadness, as we talked about through this entire series, because of your closeness with Don Zimmer. There could only be one winner between the two of you.
Well, the first thing we said before it all started, I said, Don, one of us is going to manage in the World Series, and nobody really loses here. Don's a great manager. What a magnificent job he did with that ball club all year. Nobody expects him to go higher than third or fourth place, but I take my hat off to the Cubs. They battled, and they were very tough. It was a lot tougher than what it seemed like.
One of those things that I noticed, you had a lot of difficulty with Mark Grace getting them out. The biggest adjustment I saw was how you pitched to Ryan Sandberg. The first couple of games, a lot of fastballs. After that, a lot of breaking balls. I think that was a big difference in the series, how you began to pitch to Sandberg.
Well, we know he's a fastball hitter, and sometimes we got behind him with breaking balls, and we had to come in and he hit us. Well, we got him out with breaking balls, and that's why I left Bedrosian in there, because, Bedrosian got a good hard slider, and that's what he got him out on.
What do you think about the Oakland Athletics?
Well, they're a great team, but we're a good ball club, too. We're just going to have another big dog fight. I can't wait.
Congratulations, Roger. Nice going. Hello, Will. Nice going. Congratulations. Come up here. Get in the middle, big boy. You are center stage. A lot of people don't know who this man is if you live on the East Coast, but he is a hero on the West Coast. It is my pleasure. We're going to present Will Clark with the National League Championship trophy. This is Matt Murphy from Chevrolet. Matt, it's my pleasure.
Congratulations on an outstanding series.
Thank
Unbelievable.
You, Thank you.
On behalf, go ahead.
I appreciate Chevrolet sponsoring us and giving this award.
Great. Well, on behalf of Chevrolet, it's my pleasure to be able to present to you the most valuable player trophy for this year's National League Championship Series. Outstanding job. In addition to the trophy, we're also going to donate a 1990 Chevy Astro van that you can donate to your favorite charity. Congratulations again, and best of luck in the World Series.
I appreciate that, and thank you again to Chevrolet and United Way. You're going to get a van. Thank you.
Very good.
Appreciate that.
So I want you to take a moment with us. We can't see the replay, but you can talk about it. The big base hit of the game today, bases loaded against Mitch Williams. You fought off a couple of pitches that were tough and got a pitch to handle and drove the ball up the middle.
I was just trying to hang in there. Mitch is a gamer. I mean, you got to tip your cap to him. I mean, he's done it all year long. He's come in clutch situations and gotten guys out, and he does that by going right at people, and I got to tip my cap to him. It just so happened I fought off a few tough pitches, and I happened to get one out over the plate, and luckily it fell in. But, I tip my cap to the Cubs because they played an excellent series. I mean, Mark Grace had probably one of the most outstanding series I've seen. I mean, every time they needed a clutch hit, he got it. And I want to thank my teammates, City of San Francisco. And how about that Bay Bridge World Series?
How about the home run in game number 1, the huge game that you had, first game in Wrigley Field? I mean, it's a career day, career evening that you had the Grand Slam in Wrigley Field.
Well, the Grand Slam was great, but this is the sort of icing on the cake because this is the one that puts you over the hump and puts you in the series. And game 1 was great, but I like game 5 a lot better.
More fun today.
A lot better.
One of the things a lot of people don't realize, a complete player. I mean, you made outstanding defensive plays on the field. Throws a second, throws a third, throws to home, more than just a slugger.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I got to credit Bob Lillis with that. He's worked a lot with my defense, and I give him and Robbie Thompson all the credit because Robbie's made my job a lot easier over on first base with as much ground as he covers, and I tip my cap to those gentlemen for the great work that they've done.
Very quickly, what do you think of the Oakland pitching staff?
They got a great pitching staff and a great offense, but it's no different than the Chicago Cubs. We got to go out there, we got to play our own ball game, and hopefully we'll wind up on top.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, Benny, the word from the National League champion San Francisco Giants in their locker room, a very happy spot. Back to you, Benny.
In 1982, in football, there was the catch, as they call it in San Francisco, the winning touchdown from Joe Montana to Dwight Clark. And in 1989, the thrill, the hit by first baseman of the Giants, Will Clark. Since this is indeed a sad moment for us as we sever our relationship with baseball for a while at least, we would like to ask your indulgence and let us take this time to thank a lot of people. Terry O'Neill, John J. Filippelli, Kenneth Edmondson, Andy Rosenberg, John Gonzalez, Marilyn Altman, Ken Harvey, Mike Stremiski, Lenny Stucker, Les Dennis, Doug Grabert, Tommy Roy, Ricky Diamond, Brian Sheriff, Bucky Gunts, Kevin Smolin, Jeff Simon, Ramon Plaza, Joe Michaels, Steve Rosen, Fran Bellini, Ellis Tony, Elliot Cal, Steve Horn, and a special thanks to Harry Coyle. and to all the marvelous and wonderful cameramen and technicians who have represented NBC over the 42 years of baseball broadcasts. And I think we could sum it all up. Each and every one of us, we gave it our best shot, as did the Giants and the Cubs. And it's the Giants who go to the World Series, beating the Cubs 3-2. And we get the BART Series, the Bay Area Rapid Transit, the series that will be played in memory of A. Bartlett Giamatti. There's a sweetness to that thought. It's over for us. Time to surrender the stage, and the Giants have won the pennant. For Tom Seaver and for Mike Schmidt, this has been Scully saying so long for the last time from San Francisco.
The preceding has been a presentation of NBC Sports.
A guy asked me out.
I'm not letting her out of my sight. A teenager's first date becomes her dad's worst nightmare. I'm gonna put her in the basement with a chastity belt and a pit bull. Cosby's Tempest Bledsoe, Different Worlds, Kadeem Hardison, Heat of the Night's Anna Marie Johnson, and Amen's Clifton Davis in a comedy adventure.
The Titanic is sailing and you're on board.
Dream Date tonight. What a night.
Toyota's 1990 4x4. Don't leave the road without it.
When do you drink America's favorite German beer?
Oh, only when I go out. Or stay home.
Beck's. And when do you drink Beck's?
I used to drink it for a change of pace. Now it is my pace.
Beck's? Every once in a while. Or twice in a while. Or 3 times.
Beck's. How about you?
Only when I'm alone. Or with someone.
Beck's. The #1 imported German beer. In dark, too.
It was a big day when the new equipment arrived.
It's big. Biggest one I've ever seen.
Of course, being a custom job, some assembly was required.
It'll be a few weeks, people.
But finally, it was ready. One of the world's fastest check-writing systems. Some insurance companies look for ways to get your money from you faster.
I hear she'll do $12,000 an hour.
At Aetna, we look for ways to get your money to you faster.
The lessons learned, but soon forgotten, at 5.
And now, live, this is the Special News Center 4 Playoff Report.
Good afternoon, I'm Evan White, and it is going to be a Bay Bridge World Series. As you've just witnessed, I hope, the Giants clinching the National League pennant to face their cross-the-bridge rivals, the A's, this Saturday. Right now, the World Series is a little bit down the road for folks at Candlestick Park because they're busy. There's a whole lot of celebrating going on down there where we find our man on the spot, Gary Radnich. Gary?
Hello, Evan. We are standing outside the Giants' locker room, a wild celebration. We were just in there sharing with the Giants this great championship today, their first National League title since 1962. I just understand from my crew, they will save all that celebrating tape that we sent back for our 5 and 6 o'clock news, but we have the man who scored an important run for the Giants in that 8th inning, Candy Maldonado. Candy, congratulations.
Thank you. This is the greatest moment of my life, and let me tell you, after having the year that I had and all the up and downs that I had to go through and coming up in the 8th inning and walking myself, trying to get myself on base and walking and turning out to be the run that put us ahead, and then Bugsy behind me, Will and all the guys. I don't have words to say and explain all this.
You mentioned the ups and downs. 87, you were an integral part of the team down the stretch. Today you had to bide your time and then come through. How difficult was that for you?
Well, like I said, I have to thank God first. I was so calm, so relaxed, and my concentration out there today was one of the things that you say to yourself, oh, God, this will be the moment that you can do it. This will be the moment that you just have to get on base, and I know that once you get on base, something's going to happen.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Let's bring in the boss, Al Rosen, who's joined us. Geez, Al, couldn't you, no tie today?
I had a tie on, but you know what it's like in there. You're lucky. You get,
I was a quick hit artist. I got in and out.
Very clever. I know.
Let's show Mr. Rosen Will Clark's victorious hit. All right. You seen it yet? On television?
I'll tell you something. I saw it, and it'll forever be in my memory. So.
All right. Bases loaded. Bottom of the eighth, the wild man Williams on.
He's something special. He is something special. Webster doesn't have enough words in his dictionary. He's unbelievable.
What is it about a fellow like Clark, Al, when the situation is so tense, the pressure on, why does he make it where others don't?
Will Clark has that intangible inside that just makes him rise to the occasion, just like Bob Lurie does.
Bob Lurie? Mr. Lurie.
He rises to the occasion. He's just one of those people that he's rare. You don't find him very often. When you find him, you love him to death and take good care of him because they're going to do it for you all the time. He's a winner.
All right, Mr. Lurie, you two gentlemen have brought... You got a good side shot, or you want to go face on?
Okay, yeah, I'm all right.
You brought the first championship to San Francisco since 1962.
I brought it because I hired Al Rosen. That's how smart I am.
Will you quit going for the side shots?
Okay, yeah, all right.
I want to see the guy with you.
Okay.
When you hired Al Rosen, in all seriousness, 4 years ago, how long did you think it would take before he could turn the franchise around?
Probably a year. I know how good he is. He was a little slow, but he did all right.
All right. Final question. Bay Bridge World Series. Now, you're going to say I haven't thought about it now, but from each of you, a quick response on what it's going to mean to the Bay Area and what might happen.
Well, we're flattered to be playing them. They're a great team. They've got everything, great management, and we're delighted to be with them, and we're going to show up for every game. I can guarantee that.
I certainly agree with that. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. It's certainly going to put the Bay Area on the world of baseball map and for the whole country, and it should be a super series. All right.
Hey, we appreciate you guys coming out. Let me tell you, they had to come, the locker room, all the parties going on inside, but Major League Baseball shifted us out to Wyoming. So I appreciate you guys taking the bus and joining us.
What have you done badly? You've done something. I'll put in a good word
careful.
for
That tie looks like it cost you $22.50.
Give me 20 cash. I'll take it off right now. All right. All right, Al. Al Rosen and Bob Lurie. We'll have more from in the Giants runway, San Francisco, their first National League Championship since 1962. But Wayne Friedman is outside. Wayne, what's going on? What? Try another one, Dad.
Hello, Gary. We're outside in the parking lot where, if you attend a Giant game normally, people run out of the stadium, run to their cries to try to get home. This is the first time I've been to a Giant game where people seem to stay in the stadium as if they wanted to savor the moment. They're only beginning to come out now, and well, we've been going through this all afternoon.
We still love our Cubs. We still love them.
We don't want to talk to Cub fans right now. You guys played a good game. But thank you.
What do you mean you don't want to talk to us?
Well, all right. You wish us luck in the series?
Wait till Oakland gets a hold of you guys. They're out for vengeance.
All right.
They're out for vengeance.
What are you going to tell people in Chicago about San Francisco?
Up there, it's great. We had a great time here. The park is so-so.
So-so?
Giants, yeah!
How do you people feel about the Giants? That's a good indication of the way it's been here in the parking lot. I can't hear anything that you would possibly say to me. I think I'm deaf in this ear, and going deaf in this ear, we're going to pitch it back to you.
All right, thank you, Wayne Friedman, Gary Radnich out at the stick. We have one more picture for you to take a look at. It's live from Telecopter 4. It's sort of a pull back and watch the fun from above. A live picture of the parking lot in Candlestick Park. Takes a lot of ribbing from the folks, but it was full to capacity today and gave us a victory. Again, if you've just joined us, and I can't imagine that, the Giants have clinched a spot in the World Series. They beat the Cubs today at Candlestick, and it is the Bay Bridge World Series. It starts Saturday. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at 5. Don't go. Stop.
This has been a special News Center 4 playoff report.
Good afternoon, Dad. Keep your hands off the fender. Did you read Chevron Supreme has high octane and Tetraline? Is that right? Maybe I could go fill it up. Just to the gas station.
For even better performance, new Chevron Supreme has 25% more Tetraline. No gasoline's better.
3 hours. Gee, Dad, you didn't want me to mix the old gas with the new gas, did you?
Chevron, we're with you all the way.
I love what you do for me, Toyota. I love how you set me free, Toyota. I love it, I just love it.
Toyota's 1990 4x4. Don't leave the road without it.
I love what you do for me, Toyota.
Hey, can you cover a 1 o'clock meeting?
Ah, the virtues of milk.
Sure.
Milk is pleasantly slim on calories. And it helps supply carbohydrate to boost your energy level. Protein to keep up your stamina. And a bit of